Chapter 625. Elementalized metal horns constantly condensed on the cow Fei's head. The sharp horns flashed with a cold metallic glint, giving off an abnormally cold feeling. Hua Ziyuan had slightly lost his composure when he saw Chu Ci summon the yellow jadeite golden butterfly. Hua Ziyuan had not expected an experienced commentator like him to forget to introduce the yellow jadeite golden butterfly's grade. However, looking at the atmosphere, Hua Ziyuan was not in a hurry to introduce it. Instead, he planned to wait for the audience to vent their emotions and calm down a little before introducing this bronze/fantasy breed butterfly Fei. However, before Hua Ziyuan could introduce it, the lucky chosen spectator actually summoned another fantasy breed Fei. Upon seeing this newly summoned fantasy breed Fei, Hua Ziyuan immediately knew that he did not need to introduce it to this lucky spectator. Just by looking at this newly summoned fantasy breed Fei, the audience must have already known the identity of this lucky spectator. Hua Ziyuan looked at the silver-masked Chu Ci and immediately decided to change his commentary strategy. No matter who won or lost, the focus of his commentary would shift from Chen Hongfeng to Chu Ci. The instant Chu Ci summoned the obsidian iron wild bull, the audience's voice seemed to break through the radiant light palace's gilded roof. The moment Chu Ci summoned the obsidian iron wild bull, many spectators shouted. Then, someone started shouting, and many people in the audience started shouting. Iron Bull Princess! Hit him! Iron Bull Princess! Charge! At that moment, he heard the fatty yell not far from him. Iron Bull Princess! Dance your recoil dance! Use your horns to push him out. The corners of his mouth could not help but twitch. Chu Ci, who had just summoned the obsidian iron wild bull, also twitched her mouth. Chu Ci's face behind the silver mask revealed a conflicted expression. Isn't my little iron block cute? Why am I called Iron Bull Princess out of nowhere? It's too much. After the clamor subsided, Hua Ziyuan began to introduce loudly. I didn't expect the first lucky spectator to be the #1 genius on Star Web. Bronze X/Fantasy I Yellow Jadeite Golden Butterfly and Silver V/Fantasy II Obsidian Iron Wild Bull. At 16 years old, they're like this. Hua Ziyuan talked non-stop about Chu Ci. It was as if Chen Hongfeng, who was supposed to be the main character of the challenge, had become an irrelevant person. As the official host and commentator of the Guild Alliance, Hua Ziyuan's commentary during the Dragon Gate Guild Club's challenge to select the lucky spectators was the same as weakening Chen Hongfeng's presence. To put it simply, Hua Ziyuan was adjusting his commentary based on the situation on the field. In other words, it was a provocation to the Dragon Gate Club. However, all of this did not cause Long Tao any dissatisfaction. Instead, Long Tao wanted to thank Hua Ziyuan when he saw the situation on the field. If Chen Hongfeng really lost, then Hua Ziyuan's current commentary method would weaken Chen Hongfeng's presence. The audience's attention was focused on the silver-masked woman, which could also relieve some of the pressure that Chen Hongfeng had to face. Long Tao sighed softly. Perhaps the Radiance 100 sequence will have a new minimum age next year. At this moment, Chen Hongfeng took a deep breath. His long experience in competitions made Chen Hongfeng instinctively ignore the cheers that did not belong to him. Just by looking at the two fantasy breed Feis that the woman opposite him had summoned, and one of them was a silver/fantasy II Fei, Chen Hongfeng knew that his next battle would not be easy. Chen Hongfeng did not have time to complain about his godlike luck in the all-star match, which was the easiest to select the lucky spectators. Instead, his mind started to spin rapidly on how to carry out the most effective battle later. The Silver V/Fantasy II Obsidian Iron Wild Bull's strength was already comparable to the Gold X/Epic Smooth-Toothed Elephant Lizard. His Gold X/Epic Huge-Tailed Swamp Lizard was a major grade higher than the Bronze X/Fantasy Breed Jadeite Golden Butterfly. With such strength comparison, he still had the advantage in overall strength. However, facing the two unknown fantasy breed Fays with two more exclusive skills than ordinary Fays, Chern Hongfeng had a headache. She did not stop after summoning the obsidian iron wild bull. Instead, she circulated her spiritual energy to summon the Bronze X/Epic Burning Sunflower Gemini again. After Chu Ci summoned the Burning Sunflower twins, they immediately sat on Chu Ci's shoulders, one on the left and one on the right. Compared to the two fantasy breed Fays that Chu Ci had summoned, the Burning Sunflower Gemini was a rare fairy source-type lifeform. However, it did not cause cheers like when Chu Ci had summoned the Yellow Jadeite Golden Butterfly and the Obsidian Iron Wild Bull. However, the Creation Masters present could not help but look at Chu Ci with astonishment. The most basic requirement for the fairy source-type lifeform, the Burning Sunflower, to give birth to the Gemini was that the Burning Sunflower itself had to reach legend when it was at bronze. After giving birth to the Gemini, the Burning Sunflower's grade would fall back to normal I/normal. And now, the Burning Sunflower Gemini had reached Bronze X/Epic. What a huge amount of Creation Masters resources! Thinking of the young girl's terrifying Fey configuration, the Creation Masters present knew that the reason why the Burning Sunflower Gemini was stuck at Bronze X was probably because it was waiting for the young girl to comprehend another willpower rune. The Fey's quality that other Spirit Chi professionals pursued had become ordinary in front of this young girl. The Fey's quality that other Spirit Chi professionals pursued had become ordinary in front of this young girl. What kind of noble lady was she? The moment the Burning Sunflower Gemini was summoned, Chern Hongfeng immediately felt a burning sensation coming towards him. Chern Hongfeng quickly controlled the huge-tailed swamp lizard to quickly expand a large area of the swamp. He let the swamp cover his surroundings and used the water vapor emitted by the swamp to offset the burning sensation. However, Chern Hongfeng keenly noticed that the water in the swamp created by the huge-tailed swamp lizard was constantly decreasing. Even though the decrease in water was not fast, after a period of time, the swamp created by the huge-tailed swamp lizard would become a sticky swamp. At that time, the huge-tailed swamp lizard's silver ability, mud escape, and gold ability, rotten mud rain, would be affected. Logically speaking, when Chern Hongfeng chose the lucky spectator, the selected lucky spectator should attack first. But now, he was feeling the heat in the air and the ability to strip the water from the heat. Chern Hongfeng could not care so much and immediately commanded the smooth-toothed elephant lizard to rush in Chu Ci's direction. Long Tao had appointed Chern Hongfeng as the Dragon Gate Guild Club's representative and represented the entire Dragon Gate Guild Club. Therefore, Chern Hongfeng had to win this battle no matter what. The second battle was even worse. End of this chapter. Chapter 626. When Chu Ci saw the smooth-toothed elephant lizard charging toward her, she did not panic at all. Instead, she shouted, "Little iron block, use iron horn strike." Before the battle, Chu Ci and Chern Hongfeng had installed sound amplification devices on them. Thus, Chu Ci's instructions were clearly transmitted to the entire Radiant Light Palace. Chu Ci's voice trembled when she said the word strike, and she looked a little nervous. However, Lin Yuan knew that Chu Ci was often very calm when she was really nervous. The obvious trembling in her voice meant that she was excited. Lin Yuan looked at the obsidian iron wild bull charging toward the smooth-toothed dragon lizard and thought, "Chu Ci, let me see your growth." Chu Ci, who was on the arena, suddenly turned her head and looked in Lin Yuan's direction. Her eyes flashed with determination. Chu Ci had already made up her mind that she would do her best to win this match. She wanted to prove to Lin Yuan the results she had achieved in the past year. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard, which was about 5 meters tall and 10 meters long, was a big guy. It was much bigger than the obsidian iron wild bull, which was more than 3 meters long and 2 meters tall. However, when the smooth-toothed elephant lizard and the obsidian iron wild bull collided, when the two collided, A loud bang rang out as their flesh and blood collided. In terms of strength, the two could be said to be evenly matched. But at that moment, a huge sword horn with a metal outer layer suddenly emerged from the obsidian iron wild bull's head. The huge sword horn mercilessly pierced through the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's tough skin. It pierced its forelimbs, causing a bouquet of blood to bloom. The obsidian iron wild bull's attack did not stop after the elementalized metal horn hit. The original sword horn formed by the metal elements disappeared. Then, sword horns of different shapes appeared out of thin air and pierced into the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's forelimbs from other angles. The sword horns also changed shape wantonly and destroyed the flesh in the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's forelimbs. Chen Hongfeng did not expect this young challenger to be so decisive. He had attacked first, but the smooth-toothed elephant lizard had been repeatedly stabbed by the fantasy breed bull Fei in the collision. Just as the sharp iron horn bull's third sword horn appeared out of thin air and pierced the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's forelimb, Qing Hongfeng shouted, "Smooth-toothed elephant lizard, use tragic claw. Then use crazy bite on the target's forelimbs. At the same time, block the wound with oily mucus." Following Qing Hongfeng's command, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's body suddenly glistened with oil. Then a thick layer of oily mucus was discharged from the oil glands on the back of the smooth-toothed elephant lizard. When the oily mucus attached to the 3 big holes in the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's forelimbs, it directly sealed the holes. It prevented the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's blood from flowing out in large amounts. At the same time, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard fiercely waved its other forelimb that was not attacked. He swung it at the obsidian iron wild bull's head. Just as the lizard's claws were about to touch the obsidian iron wild bull's head, a golden jade-like transparent round shield appeared around it. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard's tragic claw, which had a tearing effect and a bleeding effect, hit the emerald golden butterfly's skill, gold emerald shield. It directly caused a crack to appear on the bronze X/fantasy I gold emerald shield. Then, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard opened its mouth, and its huge jagged teeth clamped down on the gold emerald shield like a clamp. The moment the smooth-toothed elephant lizard bit the gold emerald shield, it immediately spun like a top. The spinning force increased the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's strength, and it directly crushed the gold emerald shield. The spinning smooth-toothed elephant lizard had just been hit 3 times by the obsidian iron wild bull's iron horn while it was still spinning, so it hated the obsidian iron wild bull to the core. At this time, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard relied on its combat instincts and used its 2 forelimbs to hit the obsidian iron wild bull's back with its tragic claw. Since the obsidian iron wild bull's strength was comparable to the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's, even if the obsidian iron wild bull had metallized skin. However, the tragic claw's tearing effect immediately opened up several deep gashes on the obsidian iron wild bull's back. The moment the gashes opened up, the obsidian iron wild bull's back was instantly dyed red with blood. The obsidian iron wild bull let out a violent moo in pain. At this time, Chen Hongfeng had already decisively ordered the Gold X/epic huge-tailed swamp lizard to use the Yui skill, Decaying Mud Rain. The Decaying Mud Rain did not only cover the obsidian iron wild bull's body. It also covered Chu Ci, who was commanding the obsidian iron wild bull. Faced with the menacing rain of corrosive mud, Chu Ci directly ordered the yellow jadeite golden butterfly. Little Wings, use gold emerald shield again. A golden jadeite shield appeared around Chu Ci. It helped Chu Ci isolate the corrosive decaying mud rain. At the same time, the gold emerald shield also enveloped the yellow jadeite golden butterfly and the burning sunflower Gemini, who were sitting on Chu Ci's shoulder. Seeing the menacing decaying mud rain, Chu Ci decisively commanded the obsidian iron wild bull. Little Iron Block, use Pain Buffer. Upon receiving Chu Ci's command, The obsidian iron wild bull's body flashed with an obsidian luster. When the rain of rotten mud hit the obsidian iron wild bull's body, it was immediately repelled by the obsidian glow. The giant-tailed swamp lizard dealt elemental damage through the combination of water and earth elements. It was perfectly countered by the obsidian iron wild bull's silver skill, pain buffer. At this point, the commentator, Huaziyuan, had almost shouted himself hoarse. Although this was only a challenge to select the lucky spectators, the value of this challenge was too much. A middle school student was controlling 2 fantasy breed fays and fighting with Chern Hongfeng, a reserve member of the Dragon Gate Guild Club who had been the main force for many matches. As time went on, the odds of victory were 50-50. After the tournament ended, this match would probably become the biggest news of the all-star competition. Huaziyuan said loudly as he sensed the situation on both sides. Both sides appear to be evenly matched, but according to my analysis, the obsidian iron wild bull's skill can negate elemental damage. It's the same as weakening the huge-tailed swamp lizard's attacks and restraining it. Therefore, I believe that the challenger, Chu Ci, has a very high chance of winning. Huaziyuan's words caused the cheers of the audience to stop. F***ck. Huaziyuan spoke. The result of this match is out. Huaziyuan is awesome. His poisonous milk defeated the Iron Wild Bull Princess. No. Huaziyuan. How can my wife lose? When he heard this voice, his originally gentle eyes immediately became sharp as he scanned the surroundings. First update. End of this chapter. Chapter 627. However, with 200,000 viewers, he did not know which damn hooligan had said, "How could my wife lose?" Otherwise, he would never mind letting him put away his dangerous thoughts. Chu Ci paid no attention to the clamor in the hall and the rain of rotten mud that never stopped. Since the rotten mud rain was an AoE skill, its damage was not considered strong. The yellow jade golden butterfly's bronze X/fantasy eye strength could also resist it well. However, Chu Ci knew that the silver pain buffer of the huge-tailed swamp lizard was not immune to elemental damage. How much damage the obsidian iron wild bull had suffered from the rotten mud rain would have to be returned after the layer of obsidian-like light on its body dissipated. Chu Ci immediately controlled the burning sunflower Gemini to use burning flame to fly toward the smooth-toothed elephant lizard and the huge-tailed swamp lizard that had emerged from the swamp. The 2 elf-like cute burning sunflower Gemini flew toward their respective target. Chern Hongfeng did not know the effects of the burning sunflower Gemini's abilities and only regarded them as a source-type lifeform with fire-type abilities. Chern Hongfeng had 2 gold X/epic lizard species phase, so he did not care about a bronze X/epic fairy source-type lifeform. However, the moment the burning sunflower Gemini attached themselves to the smooth-toothed elephant lizard, a layer of red flames like a flaming cicada coat ignited on the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's body. The effect of burning flame stripping caused the layer of flame cicada coat on the smooth-toothed elephant lizard to quickly strip the water from its oily mucus while roasting it. The oily mucus turned from its original viscous state into pure flowing animal fat and lost its stickiness. This caused a large amount of blood to flow out of the wounds caused by the obsidian iron wild bull's 3 iron horns. The moment the blood flowed out, the gemstones on the burning sunflower Gemini's foreheads glowed with a green brilliance. Obviously, the burning sunflower Gemini was using their exclusive skill, Gemini Care, to absorb the vitality taken away by burning the smooth-toothed elephant lizard. Chern Hongfeng cursed inwardly and controlled the smooth-toothed elephant lizard to use its gold ability, Wave Treading. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard's body shook violently, and a large amount of water elemental energy gushed out of its body. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard turned its head and collided with the burning sunflower Gemini, who were flying around it. However, Chern Hongfeng's frown deepened as he bumped into the air. Chern Hongfeng had never thought that a Bronze X/Epic Fairy Source-type lifeform would be immune to physical damage. Chern Hongfeng commanded as he watched the other burning sunflower Gemini fly towards the huge-tailed swamp lizard. Giant-tailed swamp lizard, use smelly mud. The huge-tailed swamp lizard quickly spat out 3 balls of grayish-green mud that emitted a nauseating smell. However, when the burning sunflower Gemini's body was hit by the mud, the burning sunflower Gemini simply ignored the attack. It firmly attached itself to the huge-tailed swamp lizard's body. The moment the giant-tailed swamp lizard entered the smelly swamp, the burning sunflower Gemini immediately separated from the giant-tailed swamp lizard. However, the burning sunflower Gemini that had escaped from the giant-tailed swamp lizard was still burning with flames all over their bodies as they firmly guarded the area of 20 to 30 square meters of the smelly swamp. When the huge-tailed swamp lizard appeared, he would attach himself to it again. Chern Hongfeng clenched his fists tightly. I actually made 2 consecutive mistakes in the battle. Chern Hongfeng never expected that a Bronze X/Epic Fairy Source-type lifeform, the burning sunflower, would not only be immune to physical damage, but also elemental damage. Could it be that this silver-masked girl was using a cheat code? Looking at the silver mask, Chern Hongfeng could not help but recall the scene of the blue flash purple butterfly sealing the smelly swamp. It was so similar to this scene. However, the blue flash purple butterfly had been replaced by the burning sunflower Gemini. The flames on the burning sunflower Gemini's body roasted the smelly swamp, quickly evaporating the little water in it. Once the swamp was dry, the scarlet flames would pour in through the cracks in the swamp. They continued to strip away the water in the depth. The obsidian iron wild bull's silver skill, pain buffer, was over, and the corrosive damage of the rotten mud rain was directly applied to the obsidian iron wild bull's body. The obsidian iron wild bull's metal skin became mottled, and the corrosive effect continued to seep into the obsidian iron wild bull's flesh. Chu Ci did not recall the burning sunflower Gemini, who had sealed the huge-tailed swamp lizard. After weighing the pros and cons, the burning sunflower Gemini on the smooth-toothed elephant lizard used distorted heat wave and attached it to the obsidian iron wild bull. At the same time, he asked the burning sunflower to use its exclusive skill, Gemini Care, to inject the vitality collected from the smooth-toothed elephant lizard and the huge-tailed swamp lizard into the obsidian iron wild bull. The burning sunflower's exclusive skill, Gemini Care, was paired with the obsidian iron wild bull's exclusive skill, pain absorption. The obsidian iron wild bull's injuries were stabilized thanks to double heal. Chu Ci was also facing a huge problem. She was only a C-rank Spirit Chi professional, while Chern Hongfeng was a B-rank Spirit Chi professional. While Chu Ci and Chern Hongfeng were fighting, Chern Hongfeng hadn't used up much of his spiritual energy. However, she had already used up more than half of her spiritual power. Chern Hongfeng looked at the Bronze X/Epic Fairy Source-type burning sunflower. It could actually help Faze recover. He cursed in his heart. He was only picking a lucky audience member. How did he end up picking a cheater? He looked at the recovering obsidian iron wild bull and the smooth-toothed elephant lizard, whose forelimbs were still bleeding. Chern Hongfeng gritted his teeth and decisively used the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's exclusive skill, Burning Blood Strike. In an instant, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's greenish-black body emitted a thick layer of purplish-red luster. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard's aura suddenly rose. It opened its mouth and spat out a dark red energy beam. It shot toward the obsidian iron wild bull, which was less than 5 meters away from it. When Chu Ci sensed the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's mutation, she decisively withdrew the gold jade shield outside her body. Instead, she let the yellow jadeite golden butterfly attach the yellow jadeite shield to the obsidian iron wild bull's body and cooperate with the burning sunflower Gemini's distorted heat wave to protect it. Although the huge-tailed swamp lizard was forced into the swamp by the other burning sunflower Gemini, The rotten mud rain did not stop. The rotten mud rain was not as strong as it was at the beginning, with less than 1/3 of its original power. However, Chu Xi's actions still made everyone present, including Lin Yuan and Lu Jie, stand up. When the rotten mud rain fell on Chu Xi, a green chain suddenly appeared on the obsidian iron wild bull's body and wrapped around Chu Xi's left hand. A long red energy chain also appeared on Chu Xi's right hand, and the other end was connected to the obsidian iron wild bull's body. The second one was even more powerful. End of this chapter. Chapter 628. When Chu Xi was injured by the carrion mud rain, the damage was transmitted to the obsidian iron wild bull through the red chain. The long green chain kept feeding back the obsidian iron wild bull's vitality. The audience did not know, but Lin Yuan knew that this was the obsidian iron wild bull's elite skill, sacrifice. Lin Yuan had taken out all his savings to buy this obsidian iron wild bull, which was the best choice he could make. This was also the best choice that the heavens and the unseen heavens luck could give her. An elite/epic sharp rock bull was not outstanding, and Lin Yuan could easily enhance it now. However, this rare elite skill, sacrifice, had allowed Lin Yuan to have a lot of resources. He still felt that encountering the sharp iron horn bull with its damaged roots and elite skill, sacrifice, was the best thing he had ever picked up. Fortunately, no creation masters would go to the Fey wholesale market in a small place like the Xia region. Even if there were good things, they would be covered in dust. When the obsidian iron wild bull's level was low, the effect of sacrifice was not obvious. Now that the obsidian iron wild bull's strength had reached Silver V/Fantasy 2, the effects of the elite sacrifice could finally begin to show. When Chu Xi withdrew the yellow jade golden butterfly's golden jade shield in the carrion mud rain, Hua Ziyuan, who was commentating, immediately turned to look at a middle-aged man beside him. When the middle-aged man saw Hua Ziyuan's gaze, he secretly mobilized his spiritual energy, and a pink clam shell appeared in his palm. When the pink clam shell opened and closed, pink bubbles were constantly spat out. It looked exceptionally dreamy. It was also this middle-aged man who summoned the pink clamshell that allowed Lu Jie to return to his seat in the audience stand. The live duel might only be a challenge, but the collision of Fays wasn't a joke. In fact, it was easier to use Fays to attack Spirit Chi professionals in order to determine the winner in a real battle. Real battles had always been very dangerous. The middle-aged man beside Hua Ziyuan was a staff member of the Guild Alliance's official team to protect the Spirit Chi professionals and Fays in the arena. Each staff member was at least A rank, and their contracted Fays were the standard Fays that the Guild Alliance had prepared for the competition, the plum rain wall snail. The plum rain mussel looked small and cute, and the pink bubbles it spat out were very dreamy. She could easily arouse the young girl's heart hidden in the depths of an 80-year-old man's heart. However, this plum rain wall snail that was filled with the heart of a young girl was an absolute safeguard erected by the Guild Alliance for the players in the arena. The shell of the plum rain conch held up the walls of the conch. The walls of the conch were abnormally sturdy and could withstand physical, elemental, and even mental damage. At the same time, a pink plum rain would fall on the inside of the conch. The plum rain had a powerful stimulating effect, but it couldn't instantly revive a Fey that was on the verge of death. However, it could prolong a severely injured Fey's life. After the convenience, healing-type Spirit Chi professionals and creation masters would take over the treatment. However, every time the plum rain mussel attacked, it usually meant that a Fey or a Spirit Chi professional would suffer a fatal attack. It was impossible for a Fey's death to determine the outcome of a real arena duel. The middle-aged man's use of the plum rain mussel would disrupt the competition. Therefore, the middle-aged man had to make the correct judgment based on the situation on the field. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he would not easily make a move. When the middle-aged man saw the green and red chains connecting Chu Xi and the brilliant iron wild bull, he no longer paid attention to Chu Xi. Instead, He looked at the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's exclusive skill, blood-burning strike, which shot out an energy beam from its tongue. As a staff member of the Guild Alliance, this was not the first time the middle-aged man had seen Chen Hongfeng's smooth-toothed elephant lizard use its exclusive skill, blood-burning strike. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard burned all the water elemental energy and blood in its body and would enter a near-death state after activating the skill. It could be said to contain all the energy in the Gold X/Epic smooth-toothed elephant lizard's body. This made the middle-aged man pour his spiritual power into the plum rain muscle, ready to immediately treat the brilliant iron wild bull after it was hit by the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's blood-burning strike. It would prolong the brilliant iron wild bull's life. Logically speaking, the middle-aged man had been prepared to block the blood-burning strike and determine that the smooth-toothed elephant lizard and the brilliant iron wild bull would be eliminated at the same time. After all, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard would enter a near-death state after using blood-burning strike and would not contribute any strength in this battle. All he could do was become a live target. However, Chu Si's yellow jadeite golden butterfly and burning sunflower Gemini cast 2 layers of shields on the luminous iron wild bull. This meant that Chu Si was willing to let the luminous iron wild bull take the damage. This made it difficult for the middle-aged man to weigh the pros and cons. As a king-class expert, the middle-aged man knew that she had a shocking background after seeing her Fey equipment. Therefore, the middle-aged man did not want anything to happen to the brilliant iron wild bull because of his negligence. Otherwise, there would be a lot of trouble in the future. Just as the burning blood strike struck the burning sunflower's elite skill, distorted heat wave, the high-temperature heat wave was directly pierced through by the energy beam. The high-temperature heat wave that was pierced through quickly retracted and surged towards the energy beam formed by the burning blood strike. However, this distorted heat wave only offset a little of the energy of the burning blood strike and did not have any obvious effect. Chu Si immediately narrowed her eyes and shouted, "Yellow Jade Golden Butterfly, activate your exclusive skill, Tremor Counterattack. Glorious Iron Wild Bull, activate exclusive skill, Pain Absorption." The burning sunflower Gemini has injected all the life force of the Gemini protection into the blazing iron wild bull's body. Then, Chu Si commanded her 3 Fays in succession. The yellow jade golden butterfly, the glorious iron wild bull, and the burning sunflower Gemini immediately used their exclusive skills. The energy beam formed by the burning blood strike penetrated the gold jade shield. The gold jade shield instantly exploded, and due to its exclusive skill, counterattack tremor, it was like a large bell. A portion of the energy damage was blasted towards the smooth-toothed elephant lizard in the form of an energy tremor. Logically speaking, the yellow jade golden butterfly's exclusive skill, counterattack tremor, had a counterattack effect. Since the yellow jade golden butterfly was only a bronze/fantasy breed, its rebound ability was not considered strong. However, the burning blood strike's energy was simply too massive. Even if it was only a portion of the rebound, the huge energy tremor caused the air to become a little distorted. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard had fallen into a state of near death due to using its exclusive skill, burning blood strike. Now that it was severely shaken by the energy tremor, dark red blood flowed out of its eyes, nose, and mouth. The first one was even worse. End of this chapter. Chapter 629. It was obvious that the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's internal organs had been severely injured during the tremor just now. As for the bright iron wild bull, the energy beam formed by the blood-burning strike blasted a large hole in its back after the gold jade shield exploded. This cylindrical bloody hole penetrated the bright iron wild bull's body. It sent the bright iron wild bull flying nearly 10 meters away before stopping. Just as the bright iron wild bull suffered this serious injury, a layer of green light lingered around its wound. This green light was the bright iron wild bull's exclusive skill, Pain Absorption. It absorbed a portion of the damage and converted the damage into vitality to repair the bright iron wild bull's body. The burning sunflower Gemini was not affected by the blood-burning strike at all. The burning sunflower Gemini flew around the bright iron wild bull's wound, and the gem on its forehead slowly darkened. It injected all the vitality it had absorbed from the smooth-toothed elephant lizard and the huge-tailed swamp lizard into the bright iron wild bull's body. This collision caused the audience to let out a deafening exclamation. This collision was clearly the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's attack, but it looked much more miserable than the bright iron wild bull. The bright iron wild bull had fallen to the ground, and its blood had dyed the ground red. However, the bright iron wild bull was still struggling to stand up and had not completely lost its combat strength. At this point, it was clear who was superior. The audience's cheers reached the climax at this moment. Did the great Iron Bull Princess grow up eating iron? How can a fae be so tough? Great Iron Bull Princess, your bull is the toughest. F***ck. This smooth-toothed elephant lizard was shocked by the energy wave that appeared out of nowhere. It can't be dead, right? The middle-aged man next to Huaziyuan stared at the smooth-toothed elephant lizard and sighed. He looked at Huaziyuan as though he was looking at an immortal. The middle-aged man was originally prepared to help the smooth-toothed elephant lizard hang on to its life. However, the middle-aged man had already injected spiritual power into the plum rain wall snail, and it was about to use the plum rain heart wall. When the middle-aged man sensed the sudden change in the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's body, he immediately stopped the plum rain wall snail. The moment the smooth-toothed elephant lizard entered a near-death state, its aura suddenly transformed into a dragon species phase unique aura. In a split second, a powerful heartbeat echoed from the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's body. It was as if the heart of the smooth-toothed elephant lizard had become a blood pump with super horsepower, constantly pumping blood to the whole body of the smooth-toothed elephant lizard. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard, which was in a dying state, suddenly opened its eyes. The originally cruel and cunning lizard eyes had become the cruel and majestic eyes of a dragon. The smooth-toothed lizard's dragon aura dragon's pressure burst stood and let and burst from the smooth-toothed elephant dragon's lizard. The awakening of the dragon species bloodline by a gold smooth-toothed elephant lizard would not have caused such a big commotion, but the loudspeakers on Chu Si and Chen Hongfeng spread the sound of the awakening of the dragon species bloodline to the entire Palace of Radiance. An Chen dragon. Dragon lizard dragon Chen. Chen. Dragon Chen dragon Chen lizard Chen dragon Chen a Chen, he dragon and unexpectedly blue. However, he did not expect the smooth-toothed elephant lizard to give him such a big surprise at such a critical juncture. Lin Yuan frowned as he looked at the smooth-toothed elephant lizard, which had gone from a near-death state to full of vigor. Under true data, Lin Yuan knew that this smooth-toothed elephant lizard had actually stimulated the dragon species bloodline in its body. Lin Yuan had enhanced countless fays with dragon species bloodlines, so he naturally understood that after a fae awakened its dragon species bloodline, it would immediately restore its body to its peak state. It was just like when Blackie, the spirit-gather goldfish, had awakened its flood dragon species bloodline and evolved into the spirit guide ichthyosaur. However, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard had not awakened its flood dragon species bloodline but another branch of the dragon species bloodline, the ancient dragon. Lin Yuan saw the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's body, which was originally 10 meters long and 5 meters tall, suddenly expand. Its body length expanded to 12 meters, its height expanded to 6 meters, and its body became more robust. Many bluish-purple bone plates bulged on its bluish-purple skin. These bone plates quickly pierced through the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's bluish-purple skin, forming pieces of hard bone armor. Immediately after, the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's upper and lower jaws, which were like huge clamps, suddenly doubled in length. As the smooth-toothed elephant lizard opened its mouth and roared, Lin Yuan saw hook-like hooks grow on its upper and lower jaws, which originally only had fine bone teeth. Lin Yuan could now imagine being bitten by the smooth-toothed elephant lizard that had awakened its ancient dragon species bloodline. The smooth-toothed elephant lizard's ability, smooth-toothed bite, combined with its enhanced bite force and increased tonnage due to its enlarged body. Its lethality would probably be at least 2.5 times higher than before. Under true data, Lin Yuan saw that the name of the smooth-toothed elephant lizard that had awakened its dragon species bloodline had become smooth-toothed elephant dragon. Lin Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly. The smooth-toothed elephant dragon was a branch of the smooth-toothed genus among the ancient dragon species. It was considered one of the more outstanding ancient dragon species bloodlines, even if it could not compare to the dragon wave sea king chalk Mosasaurus imperial dragon species bloodline. The smooth-toothed elephant species was also considered a relatively good bloodline among the ancient dragon species. This sudden turn of events caused the atmosphere, which had already reached its peak, to rise again. Even the attention of the team members at the seats could not help but be attracted. However, most of these team members looked at Hua Ziyuan with indescribable expressions. Ha 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 ha, Hua Ziyuan's poisonous milk is strong enough. Princess Iron Ox has been harmed so badly by Hua Ziyuan. Hua Ziyuan's poisonous milk is well deserved. I'm afraid. Upon hearing the audience's ridicule, Hua Ziyuan smiled awkwardly. He looked at the bright iron wild bull that had fallen to the ground and the yellow jadeite golden butterfly and burning sunflower Gemini, whose levels were obviously lower than the huge-tailed swamp lizard, and hurriedly changed his words. So far in this match, due to the smooth-toothed elephant lizard's unexpected bloodline awakening, the scales of victory have tilted in the direction of the Dragon Gate Guild Club's Chen Hongfeng. Even if the burning sunflower Gemini restrains the huge-tailed swamp lizard, the difference of 2 grades is destined to be helpless. Upon hearing Hua Ziyuan's words, Lin Yuan wore a meaningful smile on his face. The bright iron wild bull had not suffered so many vicious beatings for nothing. The bright iron wild bull was constantly suffering damage, and the burning sunflower Gemini's endurance had increased its endurance. In addition to the damage caused by the smooth-toothed elephant lizard to the bright iron wild bull, the huge-tailed swamp lizard's corrosive rain and the burning sunflower Gemini's burning flames had also attached to the bright iron wild bull's body. They had all invisibly increased the attack power of the bright iron wild bull's exclusive skill, Annihilation Gaze. The second one was even worse. End of this chapter. Chapter 630. Not to mention that the smooth-toothed elephant lizard had awakened the dragon species bloodline in its body, even if it advanced from Gold X/Epic to Platinum I/Epic. It was likely that he wouldn't be able to withstand the immense mental damage that the blazing iron wild bull's annihilation gaze could inflict. Chen Hongfeng sensed the smooth-toothed Japalura's condition and looked at the luminous iron wild bull lying on the ground. The outcome of this battle is already very obvious. Why don't we end this battle here? Chu Xi ignored Chen Hongfeng and turned to look at the middle-aged man beside Hua Ziyuan. Senior, please pay attention to your defense. Chu Xi's words stunned the middle-aged man. He did not understand what she was up to. However, he immediately became highly focused. After reminding the middle-aged man, Chu Xi spoke to the brilliant iron wild bull in a low voice. Little iron block, you've worked hard in this battle. Use your annihilation gaze one last time. The brilliant iron wild bull stared intently at the smooth-toothed Japalura. The pitch-black bull's eyes instantly turned red, and an invisible spiritual attack was launched towards the smooth-toothed Japalura, which had awakened its dragon species bloodline. Chu Xi had used the exclusive skill Annihilation Gaze countless times in the wilderness, so she knew very well how powerful it was. The luminous iron wild bull's annihilation gaze was a mental attack that was extremely difficult to defend against. Moreover, as long as the target was in the blazing iron wild bull's line of sight, they would not be able to dodge. She wanted to use this challenge to prove to him that she had worked hard day and night to improve over the past year. However, he didn't want to kill his opponent's fae. The middle-aged man immediately noticed that a formless spiritual attack was smashing towards the smooth-toothed Japalura like a heavy hammer. The middle-aged man shouted, "Plum rain muscle, double plum rain heart wall." Due to the fact that the mental attack was invisible, Chern Hongfeng had no idea that the smooth-toothed Japalura, which had just awakened its dragon-type bloodline, was in danger. But at that moment, Chern Hongfeng saw two thin and thick arms appear in front of the smooth-teethed Japalura. In an instant, the thin outer layer of the heart wall shattered. The inner layer of the heart wall was 5 times thicker than the outer layer. After a few ripples, there were no more waves. The middle-aged man's face revealed a look of shock as he whispered a few words to Hua Ziyuan beside him. Hua Ziyuan quickly said, "According to the referee, the bright iron wild bull's attack was enough to kill the smooth-toothed Japalura. Therefore, the smooth-toothed Japalura has been eliminated." Hua Ziyuan's mouth twitched awkwardly as he spoke. He felt his face hurt. It had only been a few seconds, but the slap in the face was too fast. He had just said that the scales of victory were tilting towards Dragon Gate Club's Chern Hongfeng. The echo of his words had not yet dissipated. The scales of victory that were leaning towards Chern Hongfeng were broken by the silver-masked genius in the blink of an eye. Hua Ziyuan knew that the referee's judgment would cause an uproar. Hua Ziyuan's heart was similarly indescribably shocked. Hua Ziyuan didn't dare to imagine how a cow-species fae that couldn't stand up could launch a spiritual attack that exceeded its own grade. The Plum Rain Muscle's 2-layered Plum Rain Heart Wall was something that everyone present could see for themselves. According to the rescuer, the outer layer of the Plum Rain Heart Wall was Platinum I normal. Meanwhile, the inner layer of the Plum Rain Heart Wall was Diamond V normal. Not only had the outer layer of the Plum Rain Heart Wall been shattered, but even the inner layer had suffered a certain degree of damage from the impact. The bright iron wild bull, which was seriously injured and couldn't stand up, had launched a spiritual attack that roughly reached the level of a Platinum 3/Flawless Phase full power attack. This was a proper cross-grade combat power. Chern Hongfeng was the most dumbfounded by everything that had happened in an instant. Chern Hongfeng also didn't expect that the smooth-toothed elephant lizard had clearly awakened its dragon species bloodline and evolved into a smooth-toothed Japalura. However, before the newly evolved smooth-toothed Japalura could do anything, it had been inexplicably knocked out by the opponent's attack. The Guild Alliance's referee was affiliated with the Guild Alliance's officials, and no one would question the referee's impartiality in a competition organized by the Guild Alliance. Chern Hongfeng took a deep breath and looked at the silver-masked young lady opposite him with horror and determination. There was also a trace of sincere gratitude. Chern Hongfeng had seen Chu Si's reminder to the match's rescuers, but he didn't know what she was up to. Chern Hongfeng hadn't noticed the spiritual attack at all. He only knew that the smooth-toothed Japalura had been attacked after seeing the Plum Rain Heart Wall shatter. His smooth-toothed elephant lizard had already recovered to its peak state after awakening its dragon species bloodline. If not for the silver-masked young lady's reminder, the referee wouldn't have paid so much attention to the smooth-toothed Japalura. In that case, the smooth-toothed Japalura's head might have been shattered like the outer layer of the Plum Rain Heart Wall. Chern Hongfeng pursed his lips and recalled the smooth-toothed Japalura back into his spiritual spatial zone. Although the extreme reversal made Chern Hongfeng feel a little uncomfortable, it wasn't unacceptable. After all, before the smooth-toothed Japalura had awakened its dragon species bloodline, it would have been the same result. Chern Hongfeng squatted down and touched the faintly dried-up swamp with both hands. He injected all the spiritual power in his body into the huge-tailed swamp lizard's body. Chen Hongfeng only had a total of 2 Feis, and the smooth-toothed Japalura had been defeated. He could only rely on the huge-tailed swamp lizard for this challenge. After receiving the spirit chi from Chen Hongfeng, the huge-tailed swamp lizard began to release a large amount of water elements from its body. The water that had been stripped by the burning sunflower Gemini in the swamp was immediately replenished. The smelly swamp became moist again and rapidly spread in all directions. The rotten mud rain curtain, which had been reduced by 2/3, was once again at its strongest state. When Chu Ci saw Chen Hongfeng's actions, she immediately recalled the obsidian iron wild bull into her spiritual spatial zone. The obsidian iron wild bull's body had been pierced through. Even with pain absorption and Gemini's care, the obsidian iron wild bull's body had been pierced through. Despite its exclusive skills, pain absorption and Gemini care, the obsidian iron wild bull was no longer of any use in this battle. After losing the obsidian iron wild bull, Chu Ci could only rely on the yellow jadeite golden butterfly and the burning sunflower Gemini. Chu Ci used the golden jadeite shield on the golden jadeite shield and put it firmly on her body again. Chu Ci's face didn't have the joy of instantly killing the smooth-toothed Japalura. Instead, it became even more solemn. This was because Chu Ci's spiritual power was faintly reaching the bottom. Even if she used all her spiritual power to support the golden jadeite shield, it could only last for 3 minutes in the rotten mud rain curtain. The first time was even longer. End of this chapter. Chapter 632. Princess Iron Ox defeated Dragon Gate Club's reserve member, Chen Hongfeng. Does that mean that she has reached the standard of the S tournament? Following these exclamations, someone suddenly shouted. What Princess Iron Ox? Not domineering at all. Let's call her Iron Bull Valkyrie. Then, the shouts of Iron Bull Valkyrie, awesome, drowned the Palace of Radiance. Lin Yuan felt a little melancholic when he heard the new title of Iron Bull Valkyrie. The title of Valkyrie was great, but couldn't the 2 words, Iron Bull, be removed from it? Lin Yuan didn't dwell too much on this form of address. Instead, he looked at the center of the arena with a burning gaze. It was obvious that the spirit chi had been overdrawn. At that moment, Chu Ci took out a sword from the diamond Fei storage box to support herself. It could be said that she had pushed herself to her limits in this battle with Chen Hongfeng. And it was this extreme display of strength that brought about a victory that was anticipated by everyone. In this match, she had unleashed her potential in front of the entire Radiance Federation, so she deserved to enjoy the glory that belonged to her alone in the center of 10,000 people. Lin Yuan had indescribable pride in his heart. To some extent, Chu Ci's growth was also the best proof of Lin Yuan's hard work this year. After the challenge match ended, Chu Ci returned to the audience seats and sat next to Lin Yuan. This was equivalent to shifting everyone's attention to Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan regretted not wearing a mask. But on the other hand, he was glad that he had not worn a mask. Otherwise, it would be too weird for him to be sitting in front of Chu Ci while wearing Chen Hongfeng's mask after she had just defeated him. Chu Ci looked at Lin Yuan with a burning gaze and said softly, "Brother, I won." Lin Yuan put his hand on her shoulder and quietly used spirit injection to help her recover the spirit chi she had consumed. Lin Yuan looked at Chu Ci's raised ahogue and casually pressed it down. Excellent. Behind the silver mask, a sweet smile appeared on Chu Ci's face when she heard the word awesome. It felt good to be able to show off his achievements to the people closest to him. It was even better to receive Lin Yuan's praise. The obsidian iron wild bull had been taken away by the Guild Alliance for treatment. The Guild Alliance would take full responsibility for Feis that were injured during the challenge, and it saved Lin Yuan a lot of trouble. Since Lin Yuan was not wearing a mask and was so intimate with Chu Ci, who had just won, it attracted heated discussions from the audience. This included the members of the club's guild battle teams. At this time, Liang, who was sitting beside Shi Su, looked very mature. Because he hadn't shaved his beard, He looked more experienced than usual. Liang whispered to Shi Su as he looked at Lin Yuan, who was helping Chu Si press down the ahog on her head. Shi Su, what do you think of the man sitting next to the silver-masked girl? Shi Su's mind was filled with thoughts on how to confess to Zhao Xiaochun at night. Therefore, Shi Su didn't pay much attention to the exciting challenge just now. Now, he suddenly heard Liang ask what a man looked like. Shi Su quickly pulled away from Liang and said to himself as he tightened his pants without anyone noticing. Could it be that Liang had been single for too long and wanted to find a second way to eat? Shi Su said perfunctorily. He's quite handsome. Liang took out a mirror and looked at himself. The corners of his mouth twitched as he mimicked the sunny smile of the youth, revealing a mouthful of teeth as he continued to ask Shi Su, "Do I look good when I smile like this?" When Shi Su saw such a bright smile on Liang's weathered face, he felt that it was indescribably strange and somewhat familiar. Shi Su pondered carefully and his eyes suddenly lit up. Shi Su thought of something, which was a cracked old cucumber seed. It was simply too similar to the current Liang. However, Shi Su immediately became vigilant. Why are you asking me if I look good when I smile? Could it be that Liang is planning to eat nearby after finding a second way to eat? Shi Su immediately expressed his stance. Liang, I only like Zhao Xiaochun. Shi Su's words surprised Liang. However, Shi Su's voice was not soft, and it reached the ears of the other Rhine Guild Club members. The other Rhine Guild Club members looked at Shi Su in surprise. Didn't Shi Su previously go bankrupt because of Zhao Xiaochun and have a headache whenever she was mentioned? Why did he suddenly start to like Zhao Xiaochun? Could it be that Shi Su awakened some strange attribute? He started to tremble. With this thought, the other Rhine Guild Club members slowly shifted their gazes away from Shi Su. They turned to stare at Dragon Gate Guild Club's Zhao Xiaochun, who was not far away from the Rhine Guild Club seats. They discovered that Zhao Xiaochun was currently gnawing on a pig's shoulder that was stewed into mush. She was crazily sucking in the food, as though there was no one else around. The Rhine Guild Club members swallowed their saliva. Shi Su deserved to be poor for life. Long Tao and Fang Duo also discovered that the Rhine Guild Club members had their gazes on Zhao Xiaochun. Fang Duo said softly, "Boss, could it be that the Rhine Guild Club members know something and are studying tactics?" Long Tao shook his head decisively and said, "Impossible. Xiaochun's trump card has never been used. It's impossible for outsiders to know about it. Even if the Rhine Guild Club hears some news, it's useless if they don't know about the skills and exclusive skills." When Zhao Xiaochun heard Long Tao and Fang Duoduo's conversation, she realized that the Rhine Guild Club members were looking at her. Zhao Xiaochun quickly covered the braised pork shoulder in her hand and said to Long Tao and Fang Duo, "They are just greedy. They are just greedy." After the Dragon Gate Guild Club, it was the Rhine Guild Club's turn to compete in the next few matches. However, there was still no explosion of popularity. This was because the lucky spectator chosen by the Rhine Guild Club was actually an old man in his 60s. His strongest contracted fey was only a bronze, sharp-toothed hunting hound. The Rhine Guild Club also sent a reserve team member, but the sharp-toothed hunting hound's strength made the reserve team member not know how to guide it. On the contrary, the dullness of the duel arena made everyone's gazes continue to stay on Lin Yuan and Chu Si. Lin Yuan had been running a fey store since he was young and had seen a lot of the ways of the world. He did not care too much about other people's gazes. However, ever since Lin Yuan had come to the royal capital and closed the fey store, he had been staying in the Return from Faraway Manor almost all the time. He usually discussed things on Star Web, which was the same as walking from the front stage to behind the scenes. Lin Yuan, who had walked behind the scenes, was now suddenly being watched by hundreds of thousands of people. He was really not used to it. Lin Yuan could not help but doubt himself. Was he too much of a homebody previously? The first time was even more. End of this chapter. Chapter 633. When everyone saw Lin Yuan and Chu Ci, they also noticed that the person sitting beside Lin Yuan was actually the Radiance 100 sequence number 30, Lu Jie. Lu Jie was the Radiance Federation's hero, and he had a very high reputation in Cold Frost City. Lu Jie's reputation in Cold Frost City was just like Lin Yuan's reputation in Millstone Town. Even though Lu Jie had been silent for 3 years, his popularity had not decreased. Now that Lu Jie had made a strong comeback and obtained the top 30 spots, his popularity was comparable to the top 20 members of the Radiance 100 sequence. Before everyone could guess the relationship between Chu Ci and Lin Yuan, they started to guess the relationship between Lin Yuan and Lu Jie. The discussion became even more interesting. After a few rounds of coaching battles, a few guild clubs had their turn. When it was the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's turn, everyone's attention was pulled back to the arena. After all, the Barbarian Snake Guild Club had killed the Lucky Spectator Challenge Fei at the All-Star match last year. This matter was simply too big. There was no one who didn't want to be selected as a lucky audience member to walk on the stage. They wanted to show their faces in front of the entire Radiance Federation. After all, apart from the 200,000 spectators at the arena, the All-Star match was also being broadcasted on the Star Web. However, now that it was the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's turn to draw the Lucky Spectator Challenge, no one wished to be chosen. Even if they were chosen, they were prepared to forfeit immediately. Otherwise, if the Barbarian Snake Guild Club went crazy and killed their Fei, their entire lives would be ruined. At that moment, the Barbarian Snake Guild Club had finished drawing, and Hua Ziyuan shouted, "Congratulations to Lucky Spectator A0217. The Barbarian Snake Guild Club has drawn the Lucky Spectator A0217. When the audience heard Hua Ziyuan's words, they immediately started to look for the unlucky fellow in A0217. Coincidentally, their eyes landed on Lin Yuan, who was beside Chu Ci. Wow! The Iron Bull Valkyrie's little brother was actually chosen by the Barbarian Snake Guild Club. It's really uncomfortable to be chosen by the Barbarian Snake Guild Club. Last year, the Lucky Spectator Challenge Fei was killed. Who can guarantee that this year's coaching battle will be safe? All of you are paying attention to the challenge later. Am I the only one who thinks this little brother is a little handsome? Sob, sob, sob. Lin Yuan didn't realize that he was now being discussed as an unlucky person. When it was Meng Su's turn to draw a seat beside Hua Ziyuan, Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes. When Lin Yuan had heard about Zhang Xiaobai's encounter, he didn't show much hostility toward the Savage Snake Guild Club on the surface. He did not explicitly say that he would help Zhang Xiaobai solve the problem of the Barbarian Snake Guild Club. After White Devil had said that she would help Zhang Xiaobai get rid of Xianing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru's senses that had been stolen by Meng Su's Space Sense King Gu, Lin Yuan had not mentioned anything about the Barbarian Snake Guild Club to Zhang Xiaobai. It was not that Lin Yuan did not want to help Zhang Xiaobai. If he did not value his friendship with Zhang Xiaobai and the others, he would not have used spiritual ingredients that could subdue Pinnacle Class 3 Creation Masters to heal Lu Pinru, whose soul had been injured. On the contrary, Lin Yuan, who had experienced too much worldly wisdom, knew what he should do to make Zhang Xiaobai feel better when he encountered a problem. Although Zhang Xiaobai had terminated his contract with the Extreme Guild Club, Xianing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru's contracts were still stuck in the Extreme Guild Club's hands. Zhang Xiaobai and the others' dreams had always been on the S tournament. For the sake of Zhang Xiaobai and the others' careers, it was undoubtedly unwise for Lin Yuan to blow up this matter. However, when Lin Yuan realized that he had been drawn by Meng Su, he immediately narrowed his eyes. Since Meng Su had drawn him, White Devil did not need to waste her efforts to help Zhang Xiaobai get back Xianying's, Tan Ran's, and Lu Pinru's senses that had been stolen by the Space Sense King Gu. At that moment, Zhang Xiaobai's heavy voice came from beside Lin Yuan. "Lin Yuan, why don't you just forfeit? The Barbarian Snake Guild Club's popularity has collapsed due to its behavior in last year's All-Star match. During this year's tournament, the Barbarian Snake Guild Club has been very ruthless toward other guild club teams. It even caused a few members to lose their fays in battle. The Barbarian Snake Guild Club's behavior has also helped the Barbarian Snake Guild Club gain some extreme fans. The Barbarian Snake Guild Club might want to go further down this path. It won't be safe even if it's a guidance battle in this time's all-star match. When Zhang Xiaobai spoke, his heavy face hid a strong sense of worry. Zhang Xiaobai knew of Lin Yuan's identity as Black. Every time Black had a star web duel, Zhang Xiaobai would go to the Celestial Stairway video library to watch it a few times without exception. Therefore, Zhang Xiaobai was very clear about Lin Yuan's strength. Moreover, Lin Yuan had undoubtedly displayed his greatest strength during the life-and-death battle outside Millstone Town. During this half a year, Zhang Xiaobai had been rather moved by Lin Yuan's rapid improvement in strength. However, Zhang Xiaobai, who had fought with Meng Su before, also understood Meng Su. Meng Su had 2 platinum fays. One of them was the Space Sense King Gu, which was adept at spiritual attacks. The other was the Pangolin Armor Scorpion, which was adept at physical melee combat. Its abilities were all highly toxic, and a little of it would cause the entire body to fester. Furthermore, if Meng Su were to use the Coiled Armor Scorpion to engage in close combat, as long as he didn't unleash a fatal blow, not even the tournament organizers would be able to stop him. If his Fae was stabbed by the Nirvana Armor Scorpion, the Guild Alliance could heal it later. A Spirit Chi professional's body was far inferior to a Fae's. If he was stabbed by the Pangolin Scorpion, its venom would invade his bone marrow. Lin Yuan was likely to damage his roots, which would have a great impact on his future life. Lin Yuan saw Zhang Xiaobai stand up. He patted Zhang Xiaobai on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, it's very safe." Lin Yuan's very safe stunned Zhang Xiaobai. Then, Zhang Xiaobai heard Lin Yuan ask him, "Is everything going smoothly with the Extreme Guild Club?" When Zhang Xiaobai heard this, the corners of his mouth twitched, revealing a sarcastic smile. It went smoothly. When the team leader of the Extreme Guild Club heard that I was going to handle the withdrawal procedures for Xianing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru, he didn't even let me go back for verification according to the procedures. He gave us the green light on the spot and completed the withdrawal procedures within an hour. Lin Yuan saw the sarcasm in Zhang Xiaobai's eyes and felt an inexplicable heartache. Lin Yuan understood that Zhang Xiaobai was not mocking others but himself, who was full of longing for the Extreme Guild Club and struggled day and night. The second was even worse. End of this chapter. Chapter 634. Lin Yuan looked at Zhang Xiaobai seriously. "I've created a club guild, and the reserve team is still missing 4 people. The dark days of the past cannot be chased. The road ahead is bright and dazzling. Xiaobai, you still have 5 years." After speaking, Lin Yuan turned and walked toward the center of the arena. Zhang Xiaobai had fought hard in the tournament for so many years, but he realized that the number of gazes that had stopped on him was not as many as the number of times he had been by Lin Yuan's side at this moment. Zhang Xiaobai muttered in his heart. The past was dark and unreachable, but the road ahead was bright and brilliant. As he muttered this sentence, Zhang Xiaobai seemed to suddenly see the light of dawn exploding above the dome under the sea of flowers and the remains of the swarm of insects. However, Zhang Xiaobai was mostly worried about Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan treated Zhang Xiaobai as a comrade who had experienced life and death with him. Therefore, Lin Yuan was willing to use his expectations for the future after he had just recovered his sense of spirit qi and discovered that he had contracted Morbius to encourage Zhang Xiaobai. Zhang Xiaobai had the same feelings for Lin Yuan. Lu Jie looked at Zhang Xiaobai, who was standing there and staring at Lin Yuan. "It's Lin Yuan's turn. Let's take his seat first. The Dome Club only has 4 members now, and I'm also one of the main members. Think about it. After Zhang Xiaobai sat in Lin Yuan's seat, Chu Ci also greeted him and said, "Thank you. Hello, I'm also a member of the Dome Club's reserve team." Zhang Xiaobai was in the lounge of the Extreme Guild Club and watched Chu Ci's battle through the livestream. Upon seeing Chu Ci's burst of combat power, Zhang Xiaobai knew that even two of them, who were also defense-type spirit chi professionals, could not compare to Chu Ci. Zhang Xiaobai did not know who the other main member of Lin Yuan's Dome Guild Club was. However, the trio's combat power could faintly reach the standard of a B-rank guild club. Zhang Xiaobai also greeted Chu Ci and found that her tone was light and did not express any worry about Lin Yuan going on stage. He knew that Chu Ci was Lin Yuan's younger sister. When they had gone to the Endless Forest to collect snake venom, Zhang Xiaobai had vaguely seen Chu Ci's appearance through video chat. Zhang Xiaobai could not help asking, "Aren't you worried that Meng Su from the Barbarian Snake Guild Club will go all out?" Chu Ci shook her head. If there was anyone in the world who knew Lin Yuan the best, it might be Chu Ci. She knew that Lin Yuan had always been a cautious person. If he was not fully confident, he might do it, but he would not say it out loud. Just now, Lin Yuan had said that he was very safe, which proved that he was really very safe. Lu Jie was not worried about Lin Yuan's safety at all. Lin Yuan was already very strong, and he still had a sacred source life form as a trump card. Moreover, the mother of Bloodbath and Endless Summer, two suzerain/mythical phase, were sitting in the audience seats. If Lin Yuan was really in danger and the rescuers couldn't handle it in time, the mother of Bloodbath and Endless Summer would take action immediately. Even if Meng Su was 10 times stronger, he was just a child's play in the face of the mother of Bloodbath and Endless Summer's law power. When Meng Su saw the interaction between Lin Yuan and Zhang Xiaobai, he revealed a cruel smile. His eyes sparkled as he looked at the seats of the Barbarian Snake Guild Club members. He looked at a man with curly hair, who was playing with a small green snake. When the man saw Meng Su's gaze, he blinked indifferently. He then spread his hands and made an indifferent expression. Meng Su was in the center of the duel arena, and no small movements could escape the eyes of the 200,000 spectators. At that moment, the discussions in the Radiant Light Palace suddenly doubled. Most of these discussions were filled with worry for Lin Yuan and disgust for Meng Su and the Barbarian Snake Guild Club. Hua Ziyuan's expression became very ugly. For so many years, Hua Ziyuan had been the commentator and host of the S Tournament and the All-Star Game. Naturally, he hated having black sheep like the Barbarian Snake Guild Club in his work environment. Hua Ziyuan turned to the rescuer standing beside him and said in a low voice, "Old Wang, if there's a huge disparity in strength, you can intervene and stop the match. Old Wang, if there's a huge disparity in strength, you can intervene and stop the match. Don't let this year's All-Star Game be tainted like last year's." The rescuer, whom Hua Ziyuan called Old Wang, hesitated for a moment before nodding. "If the Spirit Chi professional encounters any dangerous behavior, I will stop it in advance. However, I will only intervene when there are fatal injuries in the collision between phase." Old Wang also had unspeakable bitterness in his heart. The ones who hated the Barbarian Snake Guild Club the most were undoubtedly the Guild Alliance's rescuers. Fang Duoduo looked at Lin Yuan, who was walking toward the duel arena step by step, and said to Long Tao, "This lucky spectator is probably going to be unlucky. I'm afraid this lucky spectator is going to be out of luck. The Barbarian Snake Guild Club is becoming more and more arrogant. If I encounter the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's team, I think I will go all out and beat them up." Long Tao's mouth curled up as he said to Fang Duoduo, "Unrighteousness leads to self-destruction. The unjust will bring about their own destruction. In any case, the unlucky one will not be this lucky spectator. As for whether the Barbarian Snake Guild Club will be unlucky or not, it will depend on whether the Barbarian Snake Guild Club is courting death. Given the Moon Empress's temper, Anyone who touches the Barbarian Snake Guild Club will die. The Barbarian Snake Guild Club had always been walking on the edge of the S-Tournament's rules. Even if the Guild Alliance wanted to punish the Barbarian Snake Guild Club, there would always be a reason. After all, in such a real-life battle, a slip of the hand was an all-purpose explanation. However, in the face of a heaven-like existence, a slip of the hand would not work. When Fong Duoduo heard Long Tao's words, he felt confused. At that moment, the scene in the duel arena caused Fong Duoduo's eyes to widen. Fong Duoduo never expected that this youth, who had been chosen as a lucky spectator, would actually choose the challenge match instead of the coaching match. If it was the challenge match, given the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's character, how would they perform? Hua Ziyuan was also stunned for a second after hearing Lin Yuan's choice before announcing Lin Yuan's choice to the 200,000 spectators. Lin Yuan looked rather young, and he had a strong youthful aura. This made Lin Yuan look younger than his actual age. Hua Ziyuan looked at Lin Yuan and felt that he was only 16 or 17 years old. At this age, he was not much different from the number one genius, Chu Xi, who had just fought with the Dragon Gate Guild Club's Chen Hongfeng. The first was even younger. End of this chapter. Chapter 635. Although the Barbarian Snake Guild Club was not an A-ranked guild like the Dragon Gate Guild Club, the Barbarian Snake Guild Club was not an A-ranked guild. However, Meng Su was not a reserve member like Chen Hongfeng. Meng Su, the main member of the team, was much stronger than Chen Hongfeng. Under such circumstances, this young man still chose the challenge. If he wasn't courting death, then what was? After choosing the challenge, Lin Yuan, who was standing in the duel arena, calmly ignored the deafening cheers. Lin Yuan looked at the Savage Snake Guild Club's Meng Su and heard Meng Su's sinister expression as though he was about to toy with his prey. Brat, if you choose the challenge, then bring out your true abilities. Since it's a challenge, naturally, both sides have to go all out. If you don't have the ability to do so, and you still want to blame the other party for your injuries, then that would go against the original intention of choosing the Challenger League. Meng Su spoke in a righteous and awe-inspiring tone, which spread throughout the Palace of Glow through the loudspeaker. Immediately, many of the spectators in the spectator stands became angry. Hua Ziyuan also looked at Meng Su as if he had just eaten a fly. At this moment, Hua Ziyuan was too lazy to introduce Meng Su to the audience. Meng Su's words were shameless to the extreme. Every ticket to the All-Star competition had a chance to be selected as a lucky spectator. This was the privilege that every All-Star match ticket gave to every spectator. It was also a channel for ordinary Spirit Chi professionals to have the opportunity to interact with the S-Tournament's celebrity contestant. Naturally, the lucky audience members could freely choose between a challenge match or a tutorial match. According to Meng Su, all the teams had to give it their all in the Challenger League. Even if the future All-Star matches weren't going to be held, all of the lucky spectators would be sent to the infirmary. Lin Yuan looked at Meng Su without any expression on his face. So you go all out in every battle. It's just that if I still cause damage to my opponent after the battle is over, wouldn't I be trying too hard? Lin Yuan's voice was calm, and no one would feel anything strange. However, the silver-masked Chu Xi, who was sitting in the audience seats, had a grave expression on her face. From his calm tone, she could feel that he was angry. In her impression, Lin Yuan was usually very gentle, but it did not mean that he would not get angry. She remembered that he had gotten angry once when she was young. At that time, there had been plenty of kids on the street who were younger than Lin Yuan but older than him. When Lin Yuan was cleaning up the usneas and changing the soil, he fainted due to mental exhaustion. She had helped Lin Yuan to take advantage of the rare sunshine in the Xia region to dry a few pots of jasmine lilies, but she had been bullied by a few kids who were slightly older than her. At that time, Lin Yuan happened to wake up. Lin Yuan pulled her over calmly and asked lightly, "Does it hurt?" Then, he calmly looked at the children who were bullying him. Then, he pulled out the wooden board from the shelf and rushed forward. After Auntie Zhang and Uncle Li found out about this matter, Lin Yuan had to take out the 1,500 Federation dollars that the Fei store had saved last month as compensation. From then on, she knew how terrifying Lin Yuan, who usually never lost his temper, was when he really lost his temper. In Chu Si's eyes, although Lin Yuan had grown up and was no longer the youth he had been back then, he was still a young man. But now, Lin Yuan's tone and expression were exactly the same as back then. When Meng Su heard Lin Yuan's words, he was slightly startled. Then, he revealed a sinister smile and said, "I am a hard-working person. I'm a hard-working person. Please forgive me if I overdid it in this match." Hua Ziyuan had noticed that Lin Yuan had a Class 2 Creation Master crest on his clothes. He started to explain the Class 2 Creation Master crest on Lin Yuan's chest. Hua Ziyuan was secretly amazed at Lin Yuan's Creation Master talent. He was already a Class 2 Creation Master certified by the Creation Master Association at such a young age. However, when Hua Ziyuan heard Lin Yuan and Meng Su's conversation, he broke out in cold sweat. While speaking, Meng Su looked at the barbaric Snake Guild Club seats and saw his captain glaring at him. Meng Su immediately realized that he had said the wrong thing. Even though what he said just now was very implicit, the audience in the stadium were not fools. Although he would not be punished by the Guild Alliance with such reserved words, if he went overboard, it would still be used against him. When Meng Su had selected the lucky spectator to see Lin Yuan and Zhang Xiaobai's interaction, he had already had thoughts about Lin Yuan. Now that the Barbaric Snake Guild Club was standing in the limelight, it wouldn't be appropriate to kill the lucky spectator during the All-Star match. Meng Su calculated in his heart. Even if he didn't do anything to Lin Yuan, he had to make sure that Lin Yuan's contracted Fei wouldn't be able to get up from the ground. Meng Su was very confident in his contracted Fei, the Coiled Armor Scorpion. As long as the Fei's grade was lower than the Coiled Armor Scorpion by a major grade, once it was infected by the Coiled Armor Scorpion's special toxin, it would be destined to suffer damage to its root. Furthermore, if it was infected for a long time, even a high-class creation master wouldn't be able to fully recover. Meng Su looked at Lin Yuan's age and didn't think much of him. There were geniuses in this world, and there was already a genius who had defeated the Dragon Gate Guild Club's Chen Hongfeng in this all-star match. How could there be a second genius? Meng Su circulated his spiritual energy and summoned his two Feis. Lin Yuan looked at the two Feis that Meng Su had summoned and immediately used true data to check them. Fei name: Theft Sensation King Gu Fei species. Cicada/Polyptera Fei grade. Platinum, 8 out of 10, Fei type, Spiritual Fei quality, Legend abilities Frowny Face Olfactory deprivation. The Theft Sensation King Gu uses its powerful spiritual energy to seal off the target's sense of smell. Visual deprivation causes the target to lose their sense of sight through the powerful spiritual energy in the body. During visual deprivation, the target's eyes will enter a blind state and lose their sense of light element. Tactile paralysis deprives the body of any sense of sensation through the powerful spiritual energy in the body. Taste shackles causes the target to lose their sense of taste through the powerful spiritual energy in the body. Forced illusion causes the target to produce the truth that they don't dare to face in the depths of their heart and fall into the illusion caused by the truth. Exclusive skill Frowny Face Sense Body Shell. The Theft Sensation King Gu can seal up to 5 of the 5 senses that have been forcibly hallucinated in its body. The second one is even worse. End of this chapter. Chapter 636. Fei name: Coiled Armor Scorpion Fei species. Sand Scorpion/Needle-tail Scorpion Fei grade. Platinum, 8 out of 10, Fei type, Poison Fei quality, Legend abilities Frowny Face Puncture Hook. The scorpion's tail pierces the target and causes a puncture effect. The pierced target's flesh will enter a swollen state and form pustules inside the flesh. The sealed wound will not let blood flow out. Once the pustules inside the flesh rupture, it will corrode the target's entire body with poison. Dual sanction pincers. The pincers have a bone-crushing effect. After clamping on the target, the pincers can break the target's bones and flesh into pieces. Tough shell insect body. A large amount of calcitonin is attached to the carapace, increasing the carapace's thickness. The carapace has a high probability of resisting damage from the armor-piercing effect. Stinging hair shot. When the scorpion's tail is swung, the stinging hair on the scorpion's tail will shoot out. The ejected stinging hair has a puncture hook effect. Insect body multiplication. Burns the vitality within the body and spreads the vitality to the surface of the body to increase the insect body's size. Exclusive skill frowny face rotting flesh blood poison. When the venom enters the target's body, a portion of the venom will quickly dissolve in the blood to form blood poison. It will spread along with the blood flow to every part of the body's flesh and organs, causing a comprehensive corrosion. After seeing Meng Su's 2 contracted phase true data, Lin Yuan was slightly conflicted. He was not conflicted about Meng Su's Platinum 8/Legend Theft Perception King Gu and the Coiled Armor Scorpion's strength. Instead, he was conflicted about his identity. Lin Yuan might only have 2-star web accounts, but he had 3 identities. One was Black, who was wearing a silver mask made by Genius Tool Transformation. He was a combat class Spirit Chi professional. The first was his identity as a Class 2 creation master that had appeared on the competition stage. The other was a strange mask with the majestic Sky City's pattern. He was the City Lord of Sky City. During the fight, Lin Yuan would undoubtedly expose Black's identity as a combat class Spirit Chi professional. As for the Sacred Source Lifeform, Sacred Sword embracing Queen Sword Art's ability to manipulate laws and willpower, it would undoubtedly be able to easily defeat the Theft Perception King Gu and the Coiled Armor Scorpion. Although this was a good way to test the strength of the sword-wielding monarch. However, as long as he was not a fool, he would not expose one of his life-saving trump cards in such a situation. On one hand, using the Sacred Source Lifeform, the Sacred Sword-wielding Queen would consume the laws and willpower stored in the Queen dress. On the other hand, if he used a Sacred Source Lifeform in front of 200,000 spectators, it would be the same as telling the world that he possessed a Sacred Source Lifeform. The Radiance Alliance's Class 5 scholars were not to be trifled with. The 5-star scholar's deduction would undoubtedly expose a portion of the Sacred Source Lifeform's abilities. Lin Yuan had not been willing to expose Black's identity because he did not want to walk to the front of the stage and receive too much attention and disturbance. Even now, it was the same. However, if he had to choose, exposing Black's identity was better than exposing the Sacred Sword-wielding princess. As for the sensation-stealing King Gu that looked like a cicada and was covered in an orange carapace, it clearly had 6 pairs of wings, but it could not fly. There was a huge coiled armor scorpion with a thick black carapace and a huge hook on its tail that flickered with a cold light. Lin Yuan felt that there was nothing particularly eye-catching about it. The sensation-stealing King Gu controlled the 5 senses and relied on its massive spiritual energy. This was similar to Lissant's contracted pain illusory fox's ability to make people feel intense pain through spiritual energy. However, there was no doubt that the pain illusory fox was much stronger than the sensation-stealing King Gu in Lin Yuan's heart. Although the pain illusory fox's method of controlling pain was too simple, compared to the sensation-stealing King Gu, which deprived the body of the 5 senses. The pain illusory fox's sit was undoubtedly more brilliant for inflicting damage on the mind. The sensation-stealing King Gu did not have the ability to kill, but it had so many tricks up its sleeves. Its 4 abilities controlled the 5 senses. In the end, it only had the effect of controlling the 5 senses. While the pain illusory fox exerted pain on the target to control the target, it could also cause a serious impact on the mind and mind. As for the exclusive skill, sense body, which stored the other person's 5 senses, it was of no help to the sensation-stealing King Gu in battle. Instead, it could only use underhanded means to play some tricks outside the finals. This made the sensation-stealing King Gu lose an exclusive skill in battle and become a failure. The Platinum 8/Legend Coiled Armor Scorpion could only be considered average. Among the many Platinum Fays that Lin Yuan had seen, due to its comprehensive defense, attack, and speed, it could barely be ranked above average. The sensation-stealing King Gu and the Coiled Armor Scorpion had reached Platinum/Legend but had not become fantasy breed. Lin Yuan could see how stupid Meng Su's talent was in the S tournament, where prodigies gathered. Lin Yuan asked Meng Su indifferently, "It's painful not being able to comprehend the willpower rune, right? You always work too hard in the competition. Why don't you work hard when it comes to comprehending the willpower rune?" Most of the audience was worried about Lin Yuan's choice of a challenge match. Of course, there were also some barbaric Snake Guild Club fans who thought that Lin Yuan was overestimating himself by choosing a challenge match against Meng Su. However, when they heard Lin Yuan's calm words through the loudspeaker, they were dumbfounded. The audience could not help but stare with their mouths agape. What a stab in the heart! Meng Su was also startled when he heard Lin Yuan's words, and his face immediately turned livid. Meng Su was already 29 years old this year, and he would have to retire from the S tournament in a year at most. For so many years, Meng Su had dreamed of comprehending a willpower rune. But how could willpower runes be so easy to comprehend? If hard work was useful, then there would be no definition of a genius in the Radiance Federation. Even Chu Ci, who was widely rumored to be the #1 genius on the Star Web, was called the #1 genius. It wasn't just because she had a Bronze/Legend Ox species Fae. This Bronze/Fantasy breed Fae proved that Chu Ci had comprehended a willpower rune at the age of 15. Lin Yuan had touched Meng Su's sore spot, but before he could say anything, Lin Yuan continued calmly. "Even if you comprehend the willpower rune, your 2 main Fays have reached Platinum, and their potential is limited. The S tournament is a gathering of geniuses, and most of the B-rank guild club members have fantasy breed Fays. It must be tough, right? So hard that you always have some bad ideas. First time even more." End of chapter. Chapter 637. Meng Su didn't even let out a breath, and his face was flushed. Meng Su had a fiery temper, and now that Lin Yuan had angered him, he felt his lungs hurting. In front of 200,000 spectators, no matter what Meng Su did, the Barbarian Snake Guild Club and the faction behind it would bear the consequences. However, his strength and potential were being questioned in front of 200,000 people. If he didn't do something, he wouldn't just lose face in the Radiance Federation. Even in the Barbarian Snake Guild Club, he would become a joke. Meng Su yelled furiously, "Do you know what strength is, kid? Today I'll show you what true strength is." As soon as Meng Su finished speaking, a huge fat worm emerged from the ground in front of him. The moment the fat worm crawled out, the curly-haired Barbarian Snake Guild leader cursed inwardly in his seat. Meng Su is really an idiot. He actually summoned his trump card, the body-dissolving sandworm, after being provoked by a few words. Lin Yuan looked at this huge worm that had drilled out from under the arena and used true data to check its attribute. Fey name, body-fusing sandworm, Fey species. Powder beetle/arthropod, Fey grade, Platinum, 7/10, Fey type, source, Fey quality. Legend abilities: Frowny Face Dual Fusion. Absorb 2 types of Fays into the body-fusing sandworm's body and use it as a medium to fuse the 2 types of Fays into a combined Fey that has the combat power of the 2 Fays. Lethal weapon retention. The body-fusing sandworm's body is preserved on the fused insect's body. Gather body. The body-fusing sandworm will consume a large amount of nutrients to strengthen its body. It can fuse two types of phase that are slightly higher than its own grade. Calcium mutual dissolution. Fuse the bones of two types of phase tightly. Be it the exoskeleton or the internal skeleton, they will form a whole body without crack. Overdrive fusion. The body-fusing sandworm stimulates the energy in its body and sacrifices a large amount of energy to fuse the two phase instantly. Since it is an instant fusion, the consumed energy will be removed within 5 minutes. After removing the fusion, the body-fusing sandworm will enter a weakened state. Exclusive skill Frowny Face Body Fusion Amplification. Use the body fusion sandworm as a medium to fuse two phase. The body fusion sandworm's energy will be used as a hormone to stimulate potential, increasing the strength of the fused phase by 10%. At first glance, he was sure that this Platinum 7/Legend body fusion sandworm was a source-type lifeform with special abilities. At this moment, Lin Yuan heard Meng Su shouting with a livid expression. Sandworm, use double body fusion. Converge with hyperdrive. Then, he saw the Platinum 7/Epic body fusion sandworm's body expand. It swallowed the sensory perceiving king parasite and the coiled armored scorpion. After swallowing the theft sensation king Gu and the coiled armor scorpion, the body fusion sandworm wriggled its body quickly. Then, the important organs of the theft sensation king Gu and the coiled armor scorpion appeared on the surface of the body fusion sandworm's skin one after another. A large number of organs moved as the body-fusing sandworm acted as a medium to fuse the theft perception king Gu and the coiled armor scorpion together. It perfectly fused the theft perception king Gu and the coiled armor scorpion. Lin Yuan looked at the monster that appeared in front of him and carefully sensed it. He found that this monster's strength had faintly reached Platinum X/Legend. After the fusion was completed, Lin Yuan heard Meng Su's loud command again. Body-fusing sandworm, use body fusion amplification. Coiled armor scorpion, use insect body multiplication. Following Meng Su's command, Lin Yuan saw the body-fusing sandworm as a medium to fuse the 3-meter-long monster that was the theft perception king Gu and the coiled armor scorpion suddenly expand. It expanded from its original 3-meter-long length to nearly 6 meter long. After this monster's body expanded, its body clearly stimulated a large amount of vitality. This vitality attached to the monster's body surface, causing the strength of the theft perception king Gu and the coiled armor scorpion to rise again. It even caused a thin layer of flame to rise on the monster's body surface due to the huge amount of energy in its body. The sudden change caused the audience to exclaim, "Wow! This handsome little brother won't be hurt by this disgusting big worm, right? If that's the case, I'll die of heartache." Are the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's people sick? They're clearly fighting a challenge, but they're even more serious than during the exhibition match. What is the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's Meng Su trying to do? Big brother, let's stop fighting. Give up. Why don't you go to the lantern show with me during the new year? When Chu Ci heard this, her mouth twitched. She wondered if these aunties who wanted to go shopping with Lin Yuan were out of their mind. Chu Ci knew that Lin Yuan would not say something he was not confident about. Since he had said it, he must have a card up his sleeve. However, when Chu Ci sensed the strength of the fused insect species monster, she clenched her fists tightly. Behind the silver mask, her face revealed an uncontrollable look of worry. Lin Yuan raised his brows slightly as he looked at the transformation of the theft perception king Gu and the coiled armor scorpion. This monster's strength was now almost at the limit of Platinum X/Legend. However, there was a huge gap between the Platinum level and the Diamond level. A large rank might not mean much to geniuses, but to mediocre people, it was an insurmountable chasm. However, even though Meng Su's monster had yet to reach the Diamond grade, it wasn't far from it with the help of its various exclusive skills. Lin Yuan watched as Meng Su used his trump card to fuse the steel perception King Gu and the coiled armor scorpion with the body-fusing sandworm. There was no longer any confusion in his heart. Lin Yuan immediately stopped his plan to let the source sand, which was usually used as a cuff, drill into the dual arena to create a large amount of sand. Meng Su looked at his body-fusing sandworm as a medium, the theft perception King Gu, and the coiled armor scorpion, and laughed out loud. He looked straight at Lin Yuan and spoke in a cold voice. "Kid, since it's a challenge, you'll attack first. After you attack me, I'm going to give you a taste of the feeling that you can't see, your ears can't hear, your mouth can't taste, and your body can't touch. You will be mired in the illusion made of endless painful memories, and be pierced by the tail of a scorpion in reality." Meng Su's words caused the atmosphere to tense up. However, at that moment, a red energy beam filled with vitality danced lightly on Lin Yuan's fingertip. The second one was even more powerful. End of this chapter. Chapter 639. Meng Su also felt that he was about to regain control over the fused Fey. Meng Su quickly yelled out and commanded. Quickly use olfactory deprivation, visual deprivation, tactile paralysis, taste imprisonment, forced hallucination, and stinger shot. With Meng Su's command, Hua Ziyuan's heart immediately jumped. The contestant also started to inject spiritual power into the plum rain mollusk's body, preparing to shoot out the stinger shot. He immediately propped up the plum rain heart wall in front of him to resist the damage caused by the coiled armor scorpion's stinging hair barrage. Every stinger shot by the Nirvana scorpion stinger bullets had the effect of a piercing hook. Fays had strong physiques, and they could still be healed if the stinger shot pierced their bodies. If a spirit chi professional was hit, even if the stinger shot wasn't fatal, the rotting flesh poison on the stinger shot would be enough to cause the spirit chi professional's flesh to fester and die in a short time. Meng Su's order could be said to have given Lin Yuan the order to kill him in front of everyone. Just as the fused insect species monster was about to break away from the fasciated flower stand and release heal, a thicker and brighter life force energy beam shot out from Lin Yuan's hand. It continued to land on the perception theft King Gu and the pellicle scorpion. Under the frenzied extraction of this thick red vitality, the Fey formed by the fusion of the steel perception King Gu and the cradled scorpion was aging at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, its plump body was shriveling up. This was a sign that a large amount of life force was being extracted from its body. The crystallized main flower's heel reflected the life force from the huge monster's body, causing a layer of green, fog-like ripples to appear on Lin Yuan's body. The entire venue was silent, and even Hua Ziyuan didn't know how to comment on the match. The challenger didn't even summon his Fey, and was toying with his opponent's Fey. His opponent's Fey was clearly being extracted with a large amount of life force, but it was still letting out joyful chirps. Under everyone's attention, the youth in the middle of the arena was like a god. Lin Yuan didn't expect the crystallized main flower's heel to be so powerful. It had extracted 1/3 of the perception theft King Gu and the pellicle scorpion's life force. It could be said that the crystallized main flower's ability to extract life energy was 3 times that of the embellished flower stand. However, they couldn't be compared like that. After all, the embellished flower stand had more area of effect attacks than the crystallized main flower. At this point, Meng Su was already panicking. As a contractor, he couldn't even control his contracted Fey. How were they supposed to fight this battle? Life energy was the root of all living things. Although life force could be replenished, the loss of a large amount of life force in a short period of time would cause irreversible damage to the Fey. Lin Yuan looked at Meng Su calmly. With a wave of his hand, he used the spiritual power in his body to make the jasmine lily's crystallized main flower use heal again. It landed on the insect monster's body, which was already in an extremely bad condition. Once again, he used the crystallized main flower's heal ability. This time, it wasn't just the extraction of a large amount of vitality that made the fused insect monster age and weaken. Instead, it was as if something in his body had shattered, and his aura had weakened significantly. In the seats of the Rhine Club, the twin-tailed girl said softly, "A large amount of vitality has been lost." The 3 Fays of the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's Meng Su should have fallen in quality. Sure, Su did not feel the slightest regret when he heard this. Instead, he smiled happily. "If it were me, I would have electrocuted such a black sheep to death with my thunder mulberry." When Meng Su sensed the changes in his Fey, his face immediately broke out in a cold sweat. Even though he was looking at Lin Yuan with hatred, Meng Su didn't dare to be careless. He turned around and yelled anxiously at the referee. "Hey! I admit..." Before Meng Su could finish his words, a tiny red energy landed on him, causing him to stop what he was about to say. Instead, it fell into an extremely joyful mood like the insect species Fey it had fused with and giggled foolishly. At this moment, the referee was hesitant to intervene in the match. Lin Yuan turned his head and said to the rescuer, "Senior, what he wanted to say was that I'm getting serious." The referee was still hesitating at first, but after hearing Lin Yuan address him as senior, he looked at Meng Su again. After thinking for a while, he said, "I will only intervene when the lives of both parties are in danger," Yi Futian said. After saying that, the referee stood still on the spot. It was obvious that he had no intention to intervene. If it was someone else, the referee might have already intervened. Meng Su obviously didn't have the ability to resist at all. Even the right to admit defeat depended on whether the opponent was willing to give it to him. However, Meng Su had killed a lucky spectator's Fey during the challenge last year. He had also injured and killed other teams' Feys during this year's round-robin tournament. If it wasn't the critical point of the rules, the referee wouldn't want to save Meng Su. When Lin Yuan had entered the arena and seen the Theft Perception King Gu's true data, he had already decided not to let Meng Su go. The Theft Perception King Gu's exclusive skill, Existential Shell, could seal the 5 senses of the Spirit Chi professional and cause them to fall into the forced illusion of the Theft Perception King Gu's platinum ability. The most painful thing in life was to face the truth that one didn't dare to face. Inside the treatment center, Xin Ing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru had lost their 5 senses. They were still trapped in the mental torture. It was fine for Xin Ing and Tan Ran. However, Lu Pinru's soul was injured. While she had to endure the pain on the soul level, she actually had to face something that she didn't dare to face. Under such double torture, if Lu Pinru's mind wasn't firm enough, her soul might collapse, resulting in death. Lin Yuan was very glad that he had followed Zhang Xiaobai to the treatment center to save Lu Pinru. 2 streams of red life force, one thick and one thin, continued to suck away at Meng Su's life force. Meng Su's life force continued to weaken as he smiled. With the body-fusing sandworm as a medium, the Theft Perception King Gu and the Nirvana Armor Scorpion's aura was also falling. This indicated that the body-fusing sandworm, the Theft Perception King Gu, and the Nirvana Armor Scorpion's quality was constantly declining due to the massive loss of vitality energy. A young man with curly hair from the Barbaric Snake Guild Club had a gloomy expression. Just as he was about to get up, a pair of delicate, pale hands with dark green fingernails grabbed his arm. The second one was even worse. End of this chapter. Chapter 640. A delicate but cold voice rang out. "Captain, Meng Su is already crippled. Why do you care about him? Even if you make a move to stop this duel now, you will only save a piece of trash whose source is damaged and whose 3 platinum Fays have fallen to normal." The curly-haired young man's expression froze when he heard this. He glanced sideways at the girl with dark green fingernails and began to ponder. The woman with dark green fingernails continued. "Captain, I've always been the commander of the team. Over the past year or so, did you notice that Meng Su was the one who dealt the finishing blow for every single one of our overboard actions? Especially every time I kill other spirit chi professionals phase. Now that Meng Su is in trouble, we, the Barbarian Snake Guild Club, can sacrifice our son to save the rook. We'll push all the blame onto Meng Su. In any case, whenever Meng Su relied on the theft perception King Gu's exclusive skill to earn money, he never thought of us. When the curly-haired young man heard this, he looked at the girl with green nails and said meaningfully, "Seeing, you've been plotting against Meng Su for a long time, haven't you?" As he spoke, the curly-haired young man had already returned to his seat. It was unknown which words of the green-dyed woman had moved him. In any case, he had no intention of stopping the competition to save Meng Su. The girl with green nails giggled. "Only fools will be schemed against. It wasn't me who schemed against Meng Su. Meng Su was just too stupid." Just then, a plum rain heart wall enveloped Meng Su, the body-fusing sandworm, the theft perception King Gu, and the coiled armor scorpion. On the other side of Mei Yu's heart wall, Meng Su, the body-fusing sandworm, the theft sensation King Parasite, and the coiled armor scorpion also felt the red life force being cut off. He recovered from his state of bliss and fell directly onto the ice-cold ground of the dueling arena. Meng Su's hair had already turned white, and his skin was covered in wrinkles. Meng Su looked like a withered old man due to the large amount of life force he had lost. The bodies of the body-fusing sandworm, the theft sensation King Gu, and the coiled armor dragon scorpion shrunk to 1/3 of their original size, becoming like dried insects. As Hua Ziyuan announced that Lin Yuan had won the challenge, the Radiant Light Palace's roof was about to be pushed up with cheers. His momentum wasn't inferior to Chu Si's when she defeated Chen Hongfeng. F***ck, ah. Who the hell was this handsome guy on the stage? How could he be so strong? Why haven't I heard of it before? Well done, Meng Su from Barbarian Snake Club. What the heck was with this tournament organizer? Why did he have to interfere and save Meng Su? Mind your own business. It would be great if Meng Su could never get up. This challenge match is simply a one-sided suppression. However, summon your Fae. I really want to know what this little brother has contracted. This time, he had used the Platinum I/Fantasy 3 Jasmine Lily, a trump card that he had not shown before, so he did not expose Black's identity. It could be said that Lin Yuan had been full of mystery from the start of the challenge to the end. It was like a layer of fog that people couldn't see clearly. The more they couldn't see clearly, the more they wanted to explore. As he listened to the overwhelming cheers for him, the corners of Lin Yuan's mouth curled up. Lin Yuan suddenly felt that perhaps walking up the stage was also a good choice. At this moment, Lin Yuan seemed to understand why so many spirit chi professionals were so obsessed with the S tournament. Before Lin Yuan walked to the audience seats, he took one last look at Meng Su. He felt that Meng Su was not only hateful but also a little pitiful. It wasn't because of Meng Su's strength or his current body that was pitiful. It was because Meng Su was a contestant of the S tournament and was born to face Starlight and the competition. He should have raised his head fearlessly and faced the hardships of the battle and the praises after winning the competition. But when Meng Su fell to the ground in the middle of the all-star competition, all he received was the scolding of the audience. How ironic was that? Everything he had done so far had been for naught. Just as Lin Yuan returned to his seat, Xin, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru opened their eyes at the same time. When Lu Pinru opened her eyes, she felt that she was bursting with energy. After all, the cold snow pine's cold snow rosin had nourished Lu Pinru's soul and also soothed her mind. However, when Xin and Tan Ran opened their eyes, they felt physically and mentally exhausted. They had been trapped in the depths of their hearts and didn't dare to face the truth. Now that they had woken up, they still felt an indescribable sadness. At this moment, the three of them heard an old voice singing at the top of his lungs. "What kind of man are you? What kind of man are you? You watched her leave and didn't do anything. How naive are you? Don't force yourself. I expected you to redeem yourself, but you gave it up. This song wasn't anything special. It was a song that Starweb's sparrow-voice lowly goddess had sung during her livestream. Once this song was released, many female spirit chi professionals became diehard fans of the sparrow-voice lowly goddess. It could be said that this song had sung into the hearts of middle-aged and elderly women. It was a good song, but this old man was singing and laughing at the same time. He was also using his hands to pour all sorts of elixirs from the porcelain bottles on the table into the trash can like garbage. It looked rather strange. At that moment, Master Hong Shun turned around and was preparing to stretch his body. However, he realized that Xian Ing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru had already sat up and were looking at him. Master Hong Shun was so frightened that he couldn't even catch his breath. Choking on his saliva, Master Hong Shun started coughing violently. Master Hong Shun coughed so hard that his face was flushed red. He clutched his heart and screamed, "Can't the three of you make a sound when you wake up? This old man's soul has just recovered. Are the three of you not happy for this old man? Are you planning to scare this old man to death?" Xen Ing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru's eyes lit up when they heard Master Hong Shun's words. Xian Ing asked in pleasant surprise, "Grandpa Hong, your mental injury has healed?" Apart from accepting missions from the Extreme Guild Club, Xian Ing, Zhang Xiaobai, and the others had been working with Master Hong Shun to help him collect spiritual ingredients. They had been acquaintances for nearly 10 years. Upon hearing that Master Hong Shun's soul injury had healed, Xian Ing was genuinely happy. When Master Hong Shun heard Xian Ying's words, he was still rubbing his heart. However, a bright smile had already appeared on his face. Master Hong Shun looked at Xian Ing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru with a hint of gratitude in their eyes. "I have to thank you three brats for being able to heal the soul injury that has been troubling me for the past 15 years. If it weren't for the three of you, Zhang Xiaobai wouldn't have brought my benefactor over." Tips for Hualuo and Yen Gui. Thanks to the book friends who gave suggestions for this book. Thank you very much. Button wants to write a good book and will absorb everyone's suggestions to slowly improve. He will hone his writing skills and get better. He will work hard to write a story that belongs to the Radiance world and Lin Yuan. End of this chapter. Chapter 641. Master Hong Shun's words made Xian Ying's mind confused. Even though Zhang Xiaobai had always been reliable in crucial moments, this matter involved Meng Su, a core member of the Barbarian Snake Guild Club. Even if Zhang Xiaobai was reliable at critical moments, logically speaking, he couldn't do much in this matter. After speaking with Xian Ing, Master Hong Shun walked to Lu Pinru's side and asked her, "Do you feel anything strange about your soul?" As he spoke, Master Hong Shun cast an envious glance at Lu Pinru. At that time, due to Lu Pinru's 5 senses being lost, Lin Yuan could not judge whether her soul injury was completely healed based on her reaction. Therefore, when he was healing Lu Pinru, he did not care about the consumption of the cold snow rosin. In order to ensure that Lu Pinru's soul could recover, he increased the amount of frigid snow rosin he used. In Master Hong Shun's opinion, Lu Pinru's soul injury was very light. It was incomparable to his 15-year-old chronic illness. However, Lin Yuan's consumption of cold cedar rosin for Lu Pinru far exceeded his consumption. What an enviable relationship! After Lu Pinru woke up, she felt very comfortable in the depths of her mind, as if something was constantly nourishing and protecting her. Lu Pinru still remembered that she had been instructed by Wei Chong to help block the soul-crushing spike of the Barbarian Snake Guild Club's main team captain's Fei, the soul-shattering hedgehog. Logically speaking, with his strength, a soul-crushing thorn should have left a visible wound on his soul. But now, not only was the deepest part of his soul not damaged, it was also abnormally comfortable. When Master Hong Shun saw Lu Pinru's expression, he knew that Lu Pinru's soul had been nourished and strengthened by the cold snow pine incense. In a sense, the strength of her soul was equivalent to increasing Lu Pinru's chances of comprehending the willpower rune. Master Hong Shen sighed. Pinru lass, you have to thank Lin Yuan in the future. I really envy your friendship. Lin Yuan is actually willing to use spiritual ingredients from a suzerain/myth breed Fey to heal your soul injuries. Hearing Master Hong Shen's words, Xianing, Lu Pinru, and Tan Ran, who were initially confused, immediately understood what was going on. It turned out that Zhang Xiaobai had gone to find Lin Yuan for help. However, when they heard that it was a spiritual ingredient from a suzerain/myth Fey, they still felt inexplicably horrified. At the same time, a warm feeling welled up in his heart. The spiritual materials of such a suzerain/myth breed were priceless treasures, and the comrade who had fought with them valued them more than priceless treasures. Master Hong Shen looked at the half-tidied-up treatment center and said, "Since the three of you have recovered, you are no longer patient. Come and help this old man clean up the treatment room. Also, put your phase back into the spiritual spatial zone. Xianing, your golden shadow swift cat has already scratched 2 of my chairs. This old man will also mix a bowl of essence qi replenishing spirit liquid for you to consolidate." After saying that, Master Hong Shen walked into the cultivation room that he had already tidied up. Looking at the spotless breeding room, Master Hong Shen was suddenly not used to it. He felt that the cultivation room was more messy and more comfortable to look at. Master Hong Shen took out a few basic spiritual ingredients that could replenish vitality from the diamond Fey storage box on his wrist and concocted spirit fluids that even Class 1 creation masters could concoct with proficiency. Master Hong Shen, who was circulating the spirit qi to concoct the spirit fluid, felt a throbbing in the depths of his soul. In a daze, his soul power and spirit qi seemed to mix together and be injected into the spirit fluid, stirring up the medicinal properties of the spirit fluid. After a momentary throbbing in his soul, Master Hong Shen looked at the spirit fluid on the table and his hands. His old face grinned and revealed a few buck teeth. He was obviously smiling, but 2 drops of turbid tears rolled down from Master Hong Shen's eyes. Master Hong Shen didn't expect happiness to come so quickly. After recovering from the damage to his soul that had troubled him for 15 years, he actually became a Class 4 creation master. The 15 years of sorrow surged up in his heart. Compared to the joy of his strength increase, Master Hong Shen's heart surged with more gratitude toward Lin Yuan. Without Lin Yuan, he wouldn't have a fully recovered soul. He wouldn't have the opportunity to become a Class 4 creation master and wash away his past and cry tears of joy. Master Hong Shen wiped his hands and took out his cell phone from his pocket. He devoutly dialed the phone number that he had just recorded. After returning to his seat, Lin Yuan had completely exposed himself to the 200,000 spectators. These gazes also included the attention of the various tournament club and team members. Lin Yuan also saw many familiar faces. Long Tao, Fang Duo, Zhao Xiaochun, Shi Su, and Lin Yuan were all familiar faces. They had experienced battles together, so they could be considered friends. However, when Lin Yuan had interacted with Long Tao, Fang Duo, Zhao Xiaochun, and Shi Su, he had used Black's identity instead of his current identity. Everyone in the return from faraway manor was shocked and slowly became numb. Although they were surprised, they didn't feel that the strength Lin Yuan had displayed was that incredible. However, Chu Xiai and Zhang Xiaobai were different. Chu Xiai had given Lin Yuan a satisfactory answer in the battle just now. Chu Xiai had defeated the reserve members of the Class A Guild Club and felt the warm cheers from the audience, causing Chu Xiai to inevitably feel a trace of pride in her heart. However, after seeing Lin Yuan's strength, the pride and complacency that had just appeared in Chu Xi's heart were immediately chased away. As her brother, Lin Yuan had used practical actions to let Chu Xiai invisibly understand that no matter when, even if she was at the peak of the mountain, she had to be clear-headed and self-restrained. At the same time, it also let her know that she wanted to catch up to her brother's footstep. He still needed to move his feet and run with big strides. Zhang Xiaobai did not expect that in half a year, Lin Yuan, who had been on par with him at the beginning, would actually become so strong that he could not even see his back. Zhang Xiaobai could not understand how Lin Yuan had operated during the battle just now. Back in Millstone Town, Lin Yuan had brought a miracle to everyone there. At that moment, Zhang Xiaobai felt that he had seen a miracle that was not inferior to Millstone Town. At that moment, Lin Yuan and Zhang Xiaobai's phones rang at the same time. Lin Yuan picked up the phone and heard Master Hong Shin's excited voice. "Young Master, I just broke through to Class 4 Creation Master." Upon hearing Master Hong Shin's words, Lin Yuan clenched his fists tightly. His brows relaxed as he revealed a radiant smile. His small white teeth were even more dazzling than the small fireballs spat out by the Silver Stage pyromancer. The first one was even worse. End of chapter. Chapter 642. Since Lin Yuan had been under everyone's gaze, his smile dazzled many aunties who were secretly paying attention to him. These aunties felt like they had clearly come to watch the All-Star game, but they had unknowingly become mommy fans. Lin Yuan hadn't expected that Master Hong Shin would actually bring him such a huge surprise so quickly. The current Sky City was the first true Class 4 Creation Master in Lin Yuan's hands. After becoming a Class 4 Creation Master, Master Hong Shin didn't need to make do and could perfectly make up for Lin Yuan's shortcomings. Master Hong Shin's ability to upgrade phase grades and Lin Yuan's current ability allowed Sky City to truly have a Class 5 Creation Master presiding over it. Lin Yuan said to Master Hong Shin, "I'll send you an address later. When you're done packing, just go there." After hanging up the phone, he found that Zhang Xiaobai had also hung up the phone and was looking at him in surprise. Lin Yuan heard Zhang Xiaobai say happily and anxiously, "Lin Yuan, I have to leave the Radiant Light Palace now. Xian Ying and the others have woken up. I have to go and see them." This time, Lin Yuan did not say that he wanted to go with Zhang Xiaobai. Originally, when Xian Ying, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru were asleep, Lin Yuan did not say that he would go with Zhang Xiaobai. All the burdens fell on Zhang Xiaobai. Now that Xian Ying, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru had woken up, the fact that the Extreme Guild Club was a matter that the four of them needed to discuss and face together. "Go, Little White. I'll wait for you at the Dome Club." Zhang Xiaobai was slightly stunned when he heard that. This was Lin Yuan's second time inviting him. After joining a business club like the Extreme Guild Club, Zhang Xiaobai understood that with Lin Yuan's resources and strength, he would not be able to establish a guild club. Even if it was to recruit reserve members, there would be better choices than them. The first time Lin Yuan had recruited him was because Lin Yuan had helped him as a friend after knowing his situation. The second time he tried to recruit Lin Yuan meant that he sincerely hoped that Lin Yuan could join the Dome Guild Club, even if Lin Yuan's current strength was far inferior. As for Lin Yuan's recruitment, Zhang Xiaobai had always loved the arena, so he naturally had no reason to refuse. Zhang Xiaobai patted Lin Yuan's shoulder forcefully and said, "Don't worry. I'll go ask the three of them later. However, no matter what their plans are, I've decided to join." A few minutes after Zhang Xiaobai left, Lin Yuan's phone rang again. After hanging up the phone, Lin Yuan stood up and spoke to Lu Jie. "Brother Lu, put 2 more pairs of bowls and chopsticks on the table tonight. There will be 2 more of us in the manor." Lu Jie replied, "Leave it to me. I'm going to cook a seafood feast tonight. I'll cook the platinum bony sauté fish I bought before." Lin Yuan felt that today was definitely a great day with double happiness. Not only did Lin Yuan receive Master Hong Shin, but even Duan He, who possessed Emperor-class combat power, had also come to the royal capital. The All-Star competition was still ongoing. Most of the lucky spectators chose to watch the Challenger League, so there wasn't much to see. They had come to watch the All-Star match on a whim. Now that Chu Ci had fought in the Challenger League, even she felt a little disinterested in watching. As a result, they didn't wait for the all-star competition to end before returning from Faraway Manor. When Yu, the housekeeper, set up the 2 rooms on the 3rd floor next to Hu Quan's room. Not long after returning to the mansion, Lin Yuan received a call from Duan He and Master Hong Shen. Lin Yuan didn't expect the 2 of them to arrive together. Lin Yuan personally walked to the entrance of the manor and welcomed Duan He and Master Hong Shen into the manor. Duan He was an Emperor class expert, while Master Hong Shen was a Class 4 creation master. Their horizons were naturally extraordinary. They immediately saw the extraordinariness of the manor. It was winter, and the plants outside the manor were withering. Inside the manor, it was like summer. Duan He knew that Lin Yuan was the Moon Empress disciple, and Master Hong Shen knew that Lin Yuan could casually take out spiritual ingredients from a suzerain/myth breed fae. As a result, he didn't show too much surprise on his face. But when he entered the manor, he was still stunned by the furniture made of completely jade-textured wood and the 3 Mountain River Eternal Life carps in the red sandalwood longevity fish tank. Duan He had been fortunate enough to visit the main residences of top factions before. Those top factions' main residences were nothing more than this. Moreover, the extremely luxurious and huge mural on the wall made the whole house exude a warm feeling. After dinner, everyone quickly became familiar with each other. Even Duan He, who had lived in Indigo Azure City and eaten all kinds of marine fays, couldn't resist them. He couldn't help but admire the chef's cooking skills. After the meal, Master Hong Shen looked at the room that Wen Yu had prepared for him and then looked at the clean house. Master Hong Shen pondered for a moment before replying. "Young master, I'm used to being dirty. I'm afraid I'll be annoyed if I stay in this house. I see that there is an empty plot of land for sale next to young master's manor. Why don't I buy that plot of land and use it as a cultivation base for young master's manor? Moreover, these 2 pieces of land are so close to each other, and there are no other people around. We can open up the underground space of these 2 pieces of land. It's damp and warm underground with rich earth and water elements. It's the best environment to nurture plant-type phase. There are so many rare plants in young master's manor. In the future, when they bear seeds and breed, this underground space can also be used." Master Hong Shen said this mainly because he didn't want to be restricted in his daily life. The speaker didn't mean anything, but the listener heard it. When Master Hong Shen's words entered Lin Yuan's ears, his eyes immediately lit up. The return from Faraway Manor might have a lot of space, but he wanted to establish the Dome Guild Club's guild base in the future. It would occupy the empty plot of land at the north of the return from Faraway Manor. In addition, the expansion of the artificial lake would inevitably occupy land. If he had to use the empty plot of land on the west side to build a Fey cultivation base, it would appear that the layout of the manor was rather compact. Master Hong Shen's idea was undoubtedly the perfect solution to this problem. What made Lin Yuan even happier was that Master Hong Shen's idea of opening up an underground space was very feasible and imperative. Lin Yuan had a golden lotus brocade plant that had mutated from the flower brocade pearl. The underground space would immediately solve the problem of nurturing the golden lotus brocade plant. Moreover, the underground space was connected to the inside and outside of the manor, and it could be controlled very well. The secret of the underground space would also not be discovered and leaked by intentional factions. In a few days, the spatial tunnel that would be built from the manor to the Divine Wood Federation could also be set up in the underground space. Second, Button was almost done with work recently and still had to be busy for a few more days. In a few days it would start to recover. End of this chapter. Chapter 643. As long as the underground space was large enough, no one would notice his manor's transportation and resource exchange through the spatial tunnel. Hu Quan did not need many spatial magnets and spatial soft silver threads to create the carriage. The remaining spatial magnets and spatial soft silver threads could be laid in the underground space and had the perfect effect of isolating detection. After all, after using the spatial magnets and spatial soft silver threads to shield the space, even a suzerain/myth 3 Fae like Endless Summer would not be able to easily sense it. Alright, you can go and settle that matter first. After saying that, Lin Yuan shook his hand and took out a crystal silk embroidered satin brocade box. All the expenses will be paid from this. In addition, the things that you need for the breeding room will be provided according to the highest aptitude. After saying that, he took out a silver face storage box and handed it and the brocade box to Master Hong Shen. Master Hong Shen did not immediately check the items in the brocade box and the silver face storage box. Instead, he quickly replied, "Young master, don't worry. Young master, don't worry. This old man is very reliable. This old man promises to handle this matter beautifully." After saying that, Master Hong Shen turned and left the manor, preparing to settle the matter. It was slightly past 6 in the evening, and even if it was not suitable to start work, it was also good to buy the land first. After leaving the manor, Master Hong Shen opened the brocade box and was almost blinded by the dazzling pearls. A few drops of saliva flowed out of Master Hong Shen's mouth, which flowed through his beard and dripped onto the elemental pearls in the box. It did not conceal the pearls' luster at all. At that moment, Master Hong Shen was holding the brocade box full of elemental pearls as though he was holding a ball of sunset glow. Hong Shen then took a look at the silver face storage box and saw that there were a total of 20 flower brocade pearls that were growing excellently. Master Hong Shen, who was originally loyal to Lin Yuan, had the thought of repaying his kindness. Now, Master Hong Shen felt that he could not repay the kindness. He could not repay it in this lifetime. The happiness of being rich made Hong Shen feel that working for free here was a kind of extreme enjoyment. It was as though he was freeloading Lin Yuan every second. Under the guidance of Wen Yu, the manor's chief steward, Duan He looked around his room and was very satisfied with the place he would be living in the future. After looking at the room, Duan He sat on the water rhinoceros leather sofa and chatted with Lin Yuan for a while. He then went to the training room with Lin Yuan. When Duan He arrived at the training room, he immediately swore allegiance to Sky City with the 3 law runes he had comprehended and became Lin Yuan's guardian. Then, he faintly felt the power of the 3 laws pouring into his body and fusing with his spirit. It allowed Lin Yuan's perception of heaven and earth to increase by 3 small levels. The knowledge-related willpower rune was stuck in the middle, and it was very uncomfortable for Lin Yuan to be unable to enter or exit. There seemed to be a faint crack in this barrier that was holding him back. He felt that he could break this crack at any time. He was certain that he would be able to comprehend this knowledge willpower rune in 1 or 2 days. He might even comprehend it in the next second. This made Lin Yuan abnormally happy as genius was finally going to evolve into a fantasy breed. Lin Yuan said to Duan He, "Senior Duan He, is it convenient to summon your 6-headed sea demon snake and thunder wave sky rumbling snail?" Upon hearing that, Duan He grinned. "Others can only dream if they want to see my phase, but it's naturally convenient if young master wants to see them." Duan He waved his hand, and a small snake that was about 10 centimeters appeared in his palm. Lin Yuan saw that this small snake had dark purple scales that were suffused with a purple misty brilliance. Looking at this purple misty brilliance, it was as though one had fallen into the raging waves of the dark seabed. The little snake had 6 heads, each of which had a different color. The snake head in the middle was dark blue in color and contained a terrifying amount of water elemental energy. It was also this dark blue head that was growing in the middle of the 6-headed sea demon snake that was wearing an exquisite sapphire conch. The sapphire conch was tower-shaped and had many sharp thorns on it. These thorns were covered with silver electric patterns that flickered with silver electric arcs. Once a myth I Fae went through the first world cleansing, it would be able to easily grasp the mimicry ability. Lin Yuan knew that the six-headed sea demon snake and thunder wave sky rumbling snail were in a mimicry state. Otherwise, if the six-headed sea demon snake's massive body was fully displayed, the entire manor would probably be occupied by it. The six-headed sea demon snake and thunder wave sky rumbling snail might not have reached Myth 2 and were at the pinnacle of Myth I. However, their intelligence was already much higher than ordinary people. They were telepathically connected with Duan He and had long known of Lin Yuan's existence. Duan He had become Lin Yuan's guardian, which meant that the six-headed sea demon snake and thunder wave sky rumbling snail had also become Lin Yuan's guardians. Otherwise, given their pride as pinnacle suzerain/myth I phase, they would not allow themselves to be stared at so wantonly. When Duan He saw that Lin Yuan had been staring at the six-headed sea demon snake's head, he explained. When a purple demon advances, it needs to devour a large amount of meat from a high-grade fey and consume heavy water. It uses heavy water to catalyze the energy in the high-grade fey's meat and absorb it. According to the different elemental attributes of the high-grade phase meat, the elemental energy will be sealed in the sixth snake head. At this point, Duan He sighed with emotion. A purple demon is too difficult to raise. It's not as easy as silver lightning. Every time there's a thunderstorm over the sea, let silver lightning strike at the center of the thunderstorm. There's no need to spend so many resources and effort. While Lin Yuan was listening to Duan He's introduction, he had already carefully checked the attributes of each of the six-headed sea demon snake's head. He found that the six-headed sea demon snake's main head's attribute was water, while the other head's attributes were earth, fire, wind, poison, and dark attribute. Among them, the dark attribute head was pitifully small. It was obvious that the six-headed sea demon snake had the least chance to eat high-grade dark attribute phase meat. Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to talk to Duan He. Instead, he greeted the six-headed sea demon snake and thunder wave sky rumbling snail. Greetings, Senior Purple Demon, Senior Thunder Wave. As soon as Lin Yuan greeted them, the six-headed sea demon snake and thunder wave sky rumbling snail also greeted him. When phase reached suzerain/myth I, except for plant-type phase, they would be able to speak. Lin Yuan's polite behavior made the six-headed sea demon snake and thunder wave sky rumbling snail have a good impression of him. End of this chapter. Chapter 644. However, Lin Yuan didn't expect the suzerain/myth I six-headed sea demon snake to be a female fae. Moreover, her voice was rather pleasant. Lin Yuan then asked Duan He. Senior Duan He, you said that Senior Purple Demon is hard to feed. Is it because of the lack of high-grade fey meat and heavy water? Duan He frowned and said, I don't lack heavy water. I have been in Indigo Azure City for so many years. Every time I see a water world dimensional rift, I will go in to explore it. I can always find a few drops of heavy water in a Class 3 water world dimensional rift. However, as the purple demon gets stronger, the high-grade fey meat is really difficult for me. Heavy water was similar to an extraordinary flame. One was a special spiritual ingredient produced by the water world dimensional rift, while the other was a special spiritual ingredient of the abyss dimensional rift. However, compared to an extraordinary flame, the heavy water produced by the water world dimensional rift was undoubtedly much more precious. Lin Yuan didn't have heavy water on hand at the moment, but he did have high-grade fey meat. Lin Yuan continued to ask Duan He. Senior Duan He, I wonder if Senior Purple Demon has any requirements for high-grade dimensional lifeform meat? Upon hearing this, Duan He glanced at the six-headed sea demon snake Violet Demon sadly. When the six-headed sea demon snake saw Duan He's sorrowful eyes, she immediately yelled, Duan He, you pig! Duan He, you pig trotter! You always complain that I have a big appetite, but why don't you say that I can fight? Why are you looking at me like that? Do you not love me anymore? Can't you feed me anymore? When Duan He heard the six-headed sea demon snake's words, he didn't care that he was in front of Lin Yuan. he quickly coaxed the six-headed sea demon snake. Honey, what are you talking about? I don't love anyone, but I can't not love you. No matter how much you eat, I will risk my life to feed you. When Lin Yuan heard Duan He's words, his eyes immediately widened as he looked at Duan He and the six-headed sea demon snake in astonishment. After coaxing the six-headed sea demon snake for a while, Duan He looked at Lin Yuan and scratched his head in embarrassment. The purple demon is my wife, but my wife hasn't transformed into a human form yet, so I haven't made it public. Lin Yuan, you have to help me keep this a secret. Lin Yuan didn't expect spirit chi professionals to be able to find a partner with their contracted phase. It was as though Lin Yuan had opened the door to a whole new world. However, he did not want to step into this new world. Duan He said seriously. If the purple demon wants to absorb energy from meat, it will have to eat fey meat of the same grade as itself. Given the purple demon's current strength, the effects of inferior fey meat at suzerain are already very weak. As for the meat that is one level higher than the purple demon, it is of great benefit to the sea demons. It's just that I can't get such meat even if you beat me to death. Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and then waved his hand to summon 2 metal boxes made of stainless gold. Lin Yuan said to Duan He, Senior Duan He, the items in these 2 boxes might be useful to Senior Violet Demon. He had plenty of high-grade fey meat on hand, but the meat from the dark-eyed scorpion tiger and the dark spirit eye tadpole had no effect on the six-headed sea demon snake. Therefore, Lin Yuan did not take them out. When the mother of Bloodbath had split the night calamity crows and the dream-eating bats, it had collected a lot of spiritual ingredients, blood and bones. It had also left behind some meat that was not very useful. These meat had unexpectedly come in handy now. Master Hong Shin's black copper pot great mage needed bones, while Duan He's contracted six-headed sea demon snake only needed fey meat. Lin Yuan realized that these 2 people's needs were quite complementary, so he reserved the high-grade resources that he did not have any use for now. Duan He looked at the 2 golden boxes that suddenly appeared on the ground and knew that there should be high-grade fey meat inside. Gold-grade spirit material, stainless gold, was used to prevent any kind of energy from corroding. Although stainless gold was easily deformed under physical attacks, it could maintain its stability under the corrosion of elemental energy. The six-headed sea demon snake was obviously a creature that could not eat its fill. Now that it saw that there seemed to be food, it anxiously asked Duan He to open it. Duan He was a little embarrassed as he opened the box made of stainless gold in front of Lin Yuan. The moment he opened the box, Duan He was almost suffocated by the dense dark energy in the 2 boxes. Duan He, who had been collecting high-grade fey meat all year round, immediately recognized that it was the meat of a pinnacle suzerain/myth 2 fey. Duan He sensed the density of dark elements in the meat. It was likely that the fey that contributed the meat was only a trace away from reaching myth 3. Even though the six-headed sea demon snake was a pinnacle suzerain/myth I fey, it was now happily burrowing into the box like a little girl. Shaking their 2 little heads, they began to play happily. Duan He excitedly held Lin Yuan's hand and said loudly, Lin Yuan, thank you. Thank you for helping me raise my wife. Thank you for helping me raise my wife. Duan He was so excited that he was incoherent. Duan He had been working hard for many years, collecting resources in the wind and rain. In addition to making himself stronger, he also wanted to quickly live a normal married life. With the meat from these 2 pinnacle suzerain/myth 2 feys, the purple demon only needed to eat a small portion to directly reach myth 2. Duan He felt that the happy life he had been looking forward to for so many years was finally about to arrive. Upon hearing Duan He's words, Lin Yuan hurriedly waved his hand. Lin Yuan did not dare to say that he was raising his wife. No matter how one listened to it, this sentence had the flavor of a prairie after a rain. Moreover, Lin Yuan did not even have a wife now. Today was Duan He's first day joining the private faction, Sky City, and he had become Lin Yuan's guardian. He had not done anything and had already taken such precious resources. This made Duan He feel a little embarrassed. At the same time, Duan He could also clearly feel Lin Yuan's attitude toward him. During dinner just now, Duan He, who was used to seeing the ways of the world, had carefully observed that although this big family was led by Lin Yuan respected every member of this big family very much. Moreover, the relationship between this big family members was also exceptionally sincere and pure. Duan He could not help but reveal a smile. In such a private faction, no matter how unstable the outside was, it would always be a pure land inside. Wasn't this feeling what he had been looking forward to? After chatting with Lin Yuan for a while, Duan He suddenly thought of something. He took out a brocade pouch from his diamond face storage box and opened the brocade pouch. Then, he loosened the lid of the brocade pouch, and a handful of fine crystals of various colors appeared in Duan He's hand. Although these crystals of various colors were fragmented, they all carried either bright or dark golden veined patterns. The second one was even more. End of this chapter. Chapter 645. Duan He handed the crystal fragments to Lin Yuan and said, "These are all the law crystals I've collected. These are all the law crystals I've collected over a long period of time. I spent a lot of effort to get these law crystals, and they're relatively complete." When talking about the law crystal fragments, Duan He felt rather proud of himself. Among the spirit chi professionals with the same grade of phase as him, Duan He dared to say that no one could hunt more complete and numerous law crystals than him. Of course, this was all thanks to the six-headed sea demon snake, Purple Demon, who could eat and fight. Lin Yuan looked at the law crystal fragments in Duan He's hands and was overjoyed. It seemed like today was not a double blessing, but a triple blessing. There were many law crystal fragments in Duan He's hands, and it must be related to the large amount of high-grade fey meat the Purple Demon needed. Most of these law crystal fragments were at Myth Eye, and some of them even had extremely thin laws within them. It was obvious that these fays had just undergone the world cleansing from suzerain and had been killed by Duan He and dug out their law crystals. Even so, these law crystals were enough for the sacred sword-wielding queen to have a good meal. At that moment, the sacred sword-wielding queen in the depths of Lin Yuan's soul was palpitating. Lin Yuan took the law crystal fragments from Duan He's hands and said, "Senior, I'll give you the law crystals that contain pure power of laws. I'll give you the law crystals that contain pure power of laws later." Duan He shook his head in a carefree manner. "I don't know how long it will take for Purple Demon to reach Myth 3, so I'm not in a hurry for the law crystals. There are others in Sky City who need the law crystals more than Purple Demon." Duan He's tone was very solemn. The law crystals could be said to be Duan He's greatest wealth, and he was so carefree because he was returning a favor. In return, Lin Yuan had given him nearly complete meat from 2 Pinnacle Suzerain/Myth 2 Dark-type Fays without any hesitation. Lin Yuan was slightly stunned when he heard Duan He's words, and then he revealed a bright smile. Lin Yuan knew who Duan He had said that Sky City needed pure law crystals more than the six-headed serpent, Purple Demon. Those two were undoubtedly Endless Summer and the Mother of Bloodbath. It could be said that Duan He's law crystal fragments had directly accelerated the Mother of Bloodbath's advancement to a creation breed. Needless to say, Red Thorn's Eye of Relinquish was simply too good. Even though the blood brew grapevine had grown wantonly, there were close to 40 bunches of unripened blood brew grape. However, these 40 bunches of unripened blood brew grapes were growing at a visible speed under the Eye of Relinquish. She changed into a new look every day. He estimated that the first bunch of blood brew grapes should be able to ripen in another half a month. After that, it would harvest 1 or 2 bunches of blood brew grapes almost every day, which could provide sufficient blood energy for the Mother of Bloodbath's advancement. If the Mother of Bloodbath could successfully become a creation breed, Then the sacred source lifeform that Lin Yuan had reserved for it would come in handy. When that happened, Sky City's top combat power would rise to a whole new level. Duan He casually took out a bulging brocade pouch and poured out even more turbid biocrystals from it as he said to Lin Yuan, "That's enough. It would be great if young master could use these things. These things also contain the power of laws, but the power of laws is too impure. Even Class 5 creation masters can't do anything about it." The Bamboo Monarch's purple bamboo forest has always been collecting all kinds of rare spiritual ingredients from the outside world, but it doesn't accept these things. The sacred sword-wielding queen's heart palpitated when Duan He took out a handful of law crystal shards. The sacred sword-wielding queen said anxiously in Lin Yuan's mind, "Lin Yuan, I urgently need these crystals. Lin Yuan, I urgently need these crystals. These crystals can temper the law power that I absorbed from the law crystal and help the complete law absorbed by the queen's dress to evolve." Lin Yuan's eyes narrowed, but his expression did not change as he asked Duan He, "Senior, what are these turbid crystals in your hand? Senior, what are these turbid crystals in your hand? Senior, what are these turbid crystals in your hand?" Duan He hurriedly replied, "I've entered a few Class 5-dimensional rifts with my team in the Outer Realm. Although we weren't lucky enough to obtain the sacred source lifeform, we managed to kill some dimensional lifeforms that were equivalent to suzerain/myth I phase. These things are called law origin crystals. They were dug out from the bodies of those Tier 7 dimensional creatures." After listening to Duan He's explanation, Lin Yuan knew what these things were. Lin Yuan asked Duan He, "Senior, you just said that Class 5 Creation Master Bamboo Monarch doesn't need these law origin crystals, right?" Duan He nodded. "The power of law in these law origin crystals can't be extracted at all. Phase can't absorb it directly either, so it's useless. At most, it can only be used as proof of killing a Tier 7 dimensional creature." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan's breathing quickened slightly. "Does that mean that Emperor-class powerhouses probably have law origin crystals?" Duan He shook his head. "Young master, the Jing family's Jiao Hansong that you killed earlier should not have it. This old thing is very poor. I don't know where he spends his money. He doesn't usually go to the dimensional rift to fight. I don't know what he spends his time on. Isn't he just a creation master? Isn't he afraid of getting hemorrhoids by staying here all day?" Lin Yuan did not expect that Jiao Hansong would still owe Duan He money at the moment of his death. Lin Yuan knew where Jiao Hansong had spent his money. Jiao Hansong's diamond face storage box had almost been turned into a boutique garden. Jiao Hansong spent his days admiring the flowers and cultivating the soil. How could he be in the mood to fight in the dimensional rift? At that moment, Duan He spoke again. "Law origin crystals can be said to be the most useless thing to Emperor Realm experts. Emperor-class powerhouses can sense the rule power within, but they can't use it. It's simply a form of torture. Young master, if you need them, I know quite a few Emperor Realm experts. I can help you see if I can buy some. However, these things that are used to symbolize strength are not cheap." Lin Yuan was overjoyed. Previously, he had thought that his contracted sacred source lifeform, the sacred sword-embracing queen, was powerful and could do things that only Class 5 creation masters could. However, it was too difficult for the sacred sword-wielding queen to improve. It had consumed 2 Pinnacle Myth 2 Law Crystals and 2 Fantasy V runes to upgrade it from a fragmented infant to a 1-star. If he wanted to upgrade it again, who knew how many resources he would have to spend? Even with such abundant resources, Lin Yuan still felt the pressure was like a mountain. First, even more. Good night, everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 646. It was only now that Lin Yuan realized that the sacred source lifeform, the sacred sword-hugging queen, could not only consume law crystals to increase its star class. It could also consume the law origin crystals in the bodies of Class 7 dimensional lifeforms. However, He had learned from the conversation with the sacred sword-hugging queen's soul that there were no laws in the law origin crystals for her to absorb. However, the sacred sword-hugging queen could use the energy in the law origin crystals to strengthen the original nomological power in her skirt. After the death of a myth-breed fae, the law origin crystal's laws would remain in the same state as when the fae was alive. Now that the sacred sword-hugging queen's skirt had absorbed these laws, they were once again enhanced. It was as though the dead myth-breed fae had been resurrected and had broken through and increased its strength in the sacred sword-hugging queen's skirt. The sacred sword-hugging queen could only use the law origin crystal's energy to enhance the complete laws. Fortunately, there were two children of fortune, the night calamity crow and the dream-eating bat. The night death and remnant dream laws in the night calamity crow and the dream-eating bat were complete and could be enhanced. Duan He had said that he could help Lin Yuan collect the law origin crystals from Emperor-class experts, which was a great help to Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan might not have other things, but he had money and resources. The Spirit Lock spatial zone was constantly producing heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearls, so Lin Yuan did not feel the pinch at all when he spent them. Moreover, the elemental pearls were one-time consumables, so no matter how many he sold, it would not affect the huge market at all. Lin Yuan looked at Duan He and said with abnormal solemnity, "Senior, the law origin crystals are very useful to me. If it's possible, please help me collect all the law origin crystals you can." Upon hearing Lin Yuan's solemn tone, Duan He immediately became serious and said, "Don't worry, leave it to me. Don't worry, leave it to me." Duan He felt that he had taken on too much of a responsibility, so he changed his words slightly. "It's just that different Emperor-class experts value the law origin crystals, which can be used to show off their strength, differently. Some Emperor-class experts just treat them as useless decorations. The price needed to trade the law origin crystals with these King-class experts is slightly lower. Some Emperor-class experts believe that law origin crystals can represent their contributions. Even if law origin crystals are useless, they still treat them as treasures. Young master, you'll have to bleed a lot to make a deal with such an Emperor-level expert." Duan He did not understand why Lin Yuan wanted to use these law origin crystals. However, the next moment, Duan He's eyes froze. Duan He thought to himself, could it be that the Moon Empress can already extract the power of law from the law origin crystal? However, Duan He immediately felt that he was thinking too much. If the Moon Empress wanted law origin crystals, she just had to say the word, and countless Emperor-class experts would rush to deliver them to her. At that time, these Emperor-class experts would probably be afraid that the Moon Empress wouldn't accept their law source crystals. I can use the Heavenly Maiden-grade elemental pearls and the opportunity to customize a bronze/epic fae according to the willpower rune. Upon hearing that, Duan He nearly choked on his own saliva. Did he have to be so rich? Since when did Class 4 Creation Masters' exclusive Heavenly Maiden-grade elemental pearls become the currency of transactions? In particular, Duan He felt that no Emperor-class expert would be able to refuse the opportunity to customize bronze/epic phase based on the willpower rune in exchange for the law source crystal. An Emperor-class expert might be able to find a Class 4 Creation Master to order a fae that was compatible with their willpower rune, but it would also require a lot of favors, reputation, and resources. It would take a lot of effort to find rare spirit materials. Back when Duan He had sought the help of a Class 4 Creation Master, he had often been ordered by the Class 4 Creation Master to search for rare spiritual ingredients. Even if an Emperor-level expert didn't need this opportunity, he would still have disciples and juniors. If word got out that there was such a good opportunity, Emperor-class experts would probably line up to exchange their law's origin crystals with him. Duan He blinked his eyes and asked after some deliberation, "Young master, I wonder how many Heavenly Maiden-grade elemental pearls and opportunities to customize bronze/epic phase can you provide?" Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan replied, "The heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearls are of the same level as the auction items. I can take out 1,000 now. As for the opportunities to customize bronze/epic phase based on the willpower rune, I can take them all." Over time, Lin Yuan had already accumulated over 1,300 heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearls. However, after much consideration, Lin Yuan felt that he still had to leave some savings on hand for emergencies. Thus, exchanging 1,000 pearls for law source crystals was already his limit. As for the opportunities to customize bronze/epic phase based on the willpower rune, it would only take Lin Yuan half an hour. During this process, Lin Yuan's enhancement of the phase was also equivalent to cultivation. Even though Duan he was an emperor-class expert, he didn't know what to say at that moment. What kind of rich nest had he entered? Did he have to be so rich? Furthermore, money wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that the creation master resources that Lin Yuan casually mentioned had truly shocked Duan he. At the thought that Lin Yuan had so many creation master resources, Duan he's crazy thoughts, which had been sealed in his mind, stirred again. However, this restless thought made Duan he not know how to tell Lin Yuan, because this idea was simply too shameless. Then, Duan he thought that since he had become Lin Yuan's guardian, his increase in strength was equivalent to increasing Lin Yuan's strength. Shamelessly, Duan he activated his mental strength. A dark blue willpower rune appeared in front of Duan he. He only felt that this dark blue willpower rune carried a pure water elemental aura and did not have anything special about it. But it was more versatile. This dark blue willpower rune should be suitable for almost all water elemental creatures. When Lin Yuan had roped in Duan he had thrown out 3 layers of trick. The second trick was to promise Duan he to nurture an exclusive bronze/legend fey based on the willpower rune that Duan he had comprehended. Now that he knew the willpower rune that Duan he had comprehended, this willpower rune that was too versatile had stumped him. So Lin asked Duan he, "Senior Duan he, do you have any fays you would like to form a contract with?" Duan he stood there with a flushed face, waiting for Lin Yuan to say this. The second one was even better. There was more tonight, but it would be a little later. Button's hand was caught in the door, so typing was a little painful. End of this chapter. Chapter 647. Lin Yuan had always been used to looking into other people's eyes when talking to them, and it was naturally no exception when talking to Duan he. Therefore, the moment Duan he revealed an embarrassed expression, Lin Yuan knew that the fey he needed should be somewhat special. Sure enough, Lin Yuan heard Duan he speak hesitantly. "Young master, I want a bronze/legend spirit siphon goldfish with the exclusive skill primordial spirit transformation. Do you think it's possible?" Upon hearing Duan he's words, Lin Yuan's expression immediately turned strange. Upon seeing Lin Yuan's strange expression, Duan he's face turned even redder. If he had made such a request elsewhere, Duan he would have been treated as a lunatic. The spirit chi required to enhance a bronze/legend spirit siphon goldfish was equivalent to enhancing 5 other bronze/legend fays. Bronze/legend fays were existences that could only be encountered and not sought after. Each of them required a massive amount of resources. His request was no different from asking for 5 bronze/legend fays. However, this was the thought that appeared in Duan he's mind after he comprehended the willpower rune. The strength of the 6-headed sea demon snake, purple demon, made Duan he inclined to control the 6-headed sea demon snake in battle. It could be said that Duan he had no combat system. Even Duan he had been cultivating the thunder wave sky shattering snail all the way because it was extremely easy to cultivate. He only needed to be struck by lightning when he encountered a thunderstorm or thunderstorm. Furthermore, the thunder wave sky shattering conch could attach itself to the 6-headed sea demon snake's head during battle and become the 6-headed sea demon snake's thunder horn. If one had to say that Duan he had a combat system, Then Duan he wanted to contract other Fays to strengthen the six-headed sea demon snake's combat power. He wanted to make full use of his advantages. No matter what, strengthening his wife was never wrong. Duan He's Fey affinity was water type, so he could form a contract with the spirit siphon goldfish. The spirit siphon goldfish could recover the spirit energy that the six-headed sea demon snake and Duan he had expended during the battle, increasing their endurance. At the same time, when the exclusive skill Primordial Spirit Conversion was executed, it could convert the target's elemental energy into spiritual power. The six-headed sea demon snake's 6 heads contained a vast amount of elemental energy, but the spiritual power within the six-headed sea demon snake was limited. The exclusive skill, Primordial Spirit Conversion, could be said to be a divine skill that could multiply the six-headed sea demon snake's endurance. The spirit siphon goldfish with the exclusive skill, Primordial Spirit Transformation, was equivalent to a strong guarantee for the six-headed sea demon snake's protracted battle. However, the exclusive skill, Primordial Spirit Conversion, was unique to the spirit siphon goldfish. Apart from contracting the spirit siphon goldfish, there was no other way. Just as Duan he was about to change the topic and break the awkwardness, he heard Lin Yuan say, "I thought it was a request. This request is very easy to fulfill. It just so happens that the exclusive skill of the 5 Fortune Ranchu in the red sandalwood longevity fish tank downstairs is Primordial Spirit Transformation. I'll fish it out later. I can strengthen it for you in a few days." Lin Yuan had originally thought that Duan he needed some rare aquatic phase. If it was too rare, Lin Yuan would not be able to do anything. If it was the spirit siphon goldfish, he might have to expend more effort, but it wasn't a difficult task for him. Duan he had originally thought that Lin Yuan would reject him, but he had not expected Lin Yuan to agree so easily. This made Duan he extremely excited and moved at the same time. After experiencing ups and downs for dozens of years, Duan he, who had reached his current strength, naturally understood how rare creation master resources were. But now, Lin Yuan had unconditionally agreed to his request, which was abnormally excessive in his opinion. This caused Duan he to suddenly have a feeling that, if the ruler treats me like a national knight, I will definitely return the favor with a national knight. Duan he didn't say any words of gratitude. Having lived to Duan he's level, he wanted to let Duan he know that it was better to do things in the future than now. Lin Yuan looked through the trainer's small window and saw that the sky outside was gradually darkening. After thinking for a moment, he said to Duan he, "Senior Duan he, go to the Listening Heron Chamber of Commerce and stay with Listen for some time. The Zheng family should be making a move soon." Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Duan he nodded hard. "Recently, I've been staying at the Listening Heron Chamber of Commerce at night. During the day, I'll contact young master for the Law Origin crystals." Duan he could be said to be a witness to the feud between Lin Yuan and the Zheng family, as he had witnessed the entire process. Jiao Hanzhong wanted to kill Lin Yuan, and he was determined to kill him. Lin Yuan had also killed Jiao Hanzhong and the Jing family's Nightmare Squad's Nightmare 6 as long as the Jing family didn't know Lin Yuan's identity. Lin Yuan and the Jing family were destined to be a dead knot that couldn't be resolved. If the Jing family knew Lin Yuan's identity, they would probably think of ways to beg for Lin Yuan's forgiveness. However, from Lin Yuan's words, it was obvious that he didn't intend to reveal his identity as the Moon Empress disciple. No matter what happened in the end, the Jing family would be in big trouble. Through his interaction with Lin Yuan, Duan he found that Lin Yuan didn't put on airs and didn't seem to have any intention of relying on the Radiant Moon Palace. This made Duan he a little suspicious. If he didn't rely on the Radiant Moon Palace, how did Lin Yuan get his massive creation master resources? If he relied on that sloppy old man, Master Hong Shun, he obviously couldn't do it. However, Duan he didn't think too much about it. Duan he was now a brick in Sky City, and he shared honor and disgrace with Lin Yuan. no matter what resources. The more resources Lin Yuan had, the luckier Duan he would be. After talking to Duan He, Lin Yuan realized that Listen and Zhou Luo had already left the manor. The Listening Heron Chamber of Commerce had been very busy recently. The luxury goods that they had stocked up were about to be sold, so Listen and Zhou Luo were so busy that they didn't even have time to come to the manor to eat. Duan He immediately set off for the Listening Heron Chamber of Commerce, ready to deal with the storm that could only be resolved by force. Just as Lin Yuan was about to return to his room and enter the Spirit Lock spatial zone to feed the sacred source lifeform, the sacred sword embracing Queen, when you walked up to him and said, "Don't worry. Young master, I want to go to the Hidden Moon Pavilion tonight. I've sorted out the information on the Jing family, but I want to prepare the information on the Miao family behind the Jing family in advance. In case of emergencies." Lin Yuan nodded in response. "Go. Tomorrow, the Star Web's private faction territory will be opened to the other factions. At the same time, 100 fate letters will be issued. If I can come back, I'll take you to the interior of the territory I've arranged." When Yu hurriedly replied, "Young master, I will definitely rush back tomorrow morning." After saying that, When Yu shouted softly, "Flutter, dance of paper." As soon as When Yu's voice fell, she turned into fluttering pieces of paper and dissipated in the wind. Lin Yuan was stunned by the change in front of him, and then he laughed. The first was even better. End of this chapter. Chapter 648. Lin Yuan did not expect that When Yu had been sorting out the Jing family's information for the past 2 days and had gone to the Radiant Light Palace to watch the All-Star match. She had not been idle at all. She had actually used her spare time to nurture the elemental source-type source paper to Bronze 3/Elite. While When Yu turned into a piece of paper and flew away, Lin Yuan had used Morbius True Data to check the source paper's attribute. Fey name, source paper, paper flower, Fey species. Elemental/sand Fey grade, Bronze 3 Fey type, source, Fey quality, elite abilities Frowny face paper dance. Turn the body into flying pieces of paper. The paper is immune to physical damage, but the effect is doubled when facing elemental damage. The transformed paper has a flickering effect that triggers once every 5 seconds and can flash 3 kilometers in a general direction. Paper crane packed. Condenses paper into a paper crane. The paper crane can convey a specific message. The paper crane records the recipient's aura. If the person without the aura of the paper crane receives the paper crane will automatically burn. The paper crane has a flickering effect that is 10 times that of the paper dance. Exclusive skill Frowny Face Heaven Listening Secret Manual. The contractor's body turns into a secret manual. The secret manual raises the flying pieces of paper. As the secret manual flips, it can record all the subtle sensations on the flying pieces of paper. Lin Yuan was stunned when he saw the elemental source-type source paper that When Yu had nurtured. In terms of the combat effect of the elemental source-type source paper, Lin Yuan could only evaluate it as trash. It could be said that the elemental source-type source paper had almost no combat ability. The only skill that could be of use in battle was the normal skill, Paper Dance, which triggered the blink effect once every 5 seconds. It could have the effect of teleportation. As for the Paper Dance's ability to turn into paper and be immune to physical damage, Lin Yuan felt that it was a good self-protection ability. However, while the paper was immune to physical damage, it had to bear double the elemental effects. Such a restriction made this self-protection ability very useless. After all, every Spirit Chi professional could contract a few Fays, and most Spirit Chi professionals would have Fays that were good at using elemental damage. However, When Yu was a creation master, and the Fays she had contracted previously were not good at combat. Thus, the origin paper's insignificance in battle did not affect When Yu at all. If one looked at the Genesis paper not from a battle perspective but from an internal affairs perspective, Then the Genesis paper that when you had nurtured would not be very useful. The origin paper was an irreplaceable treasure when it came to internal affairs. Previously, Listen had caught a silver messenger pigeon on the listening heron chamber of Commerce's tree and obtained some information about the Jing family. In his opinion, each of Wen Yu's elite ability, paper crane pact, was equivalent to a messenger pigeon. After all, the messenger pigeon was just a fey. If a high-class creation master used a special method to trap it, the messenger pigeon might lose its vigilance. On the other hand, Wen Yu's skill, Pact of Paper Cranes, did not need to worry about this at all. The paper crane agreement was under Wen Yu's control, so there was no risk of the secret being leaked. The Pact of Paper Cranes had a flickering effect, and its effect was 10 times that of the previous paper dance. In other words, the paper crane could fly 30 kilometers every 5 seconds, and it could fly 360 kilometers in 1 minute. As the source paper grew stronger, the effects of the skill would also become stronger. At that time, the flickering effect of the Pact of the Paper Crane would also become stronger. However, it seemed that the speed of the Pact of the Paper Crane was already faster than most fays. It was several times faster than the silver messenger pigeon. Wen Yu's Pact of the Paper Crane could be used as a special communication method for Sky City to the outside world. It added a more mysterious veil to Sky City in the clouds. As for the exclusive skill, Heaven Listening's secret record, it allowed Wen Yu to become the most outstanding intelligence controller. Lin Yuan, who had lived 2 lives, knew that the devil was hidden in the details. The source paper's exclusive skill, Heaven Listening's secret record, allowed Wen Yu to record without missing any details that could not be detected by the naked eye or that people could not help but overlook. If she had the support of a strong enough perception ability, Wen Yu alone was enough to support Sky City's intelligence network. Suddenly, Lin Yuan thought of Gray, which was hatching in his spirit-lock spatial zone. Gray, which had transformed into a heaven and earth fae, could be said to be a pleasant surprise for Lin Yuan. It had a perfect concealment effect for the floating island whale that was about to hatch. It blocked the detection and perception from the outside world. This was Gray's common skill, cloud transformation. As Gray's strength increased, it spread out across the horizon, overlooking everything in the mortal world. It would be great if Wen Yu's perception could connect with Gray's ability, cloud transformation. That way, when Wen Yu used the source paper's exclusive skill, Heaven Listening's secret record, she could record the world shrouded by cloud transformation. She could perfectly collect the world's resources and intelligence. After thinking for a while, Lin Yuan slapped his forehead. He felt that his imagination was too wild. When Hu Quan came out of his room, he saw Lin Yuan slapping his forehead at the door of his room. He felt that Lin Yuan was not very smart. Hu Quan walked forward and said, "Is it very comfortable to slap your forehead? Do you want me to make a mechanical arm for you that can slap your forehead 100 times per second and experience 100 times the pleasure?" Lin Yuan, who was about to enter his room, revealed a handsome and puzzled expression. What was wrong with this craftsman? How could he say such a strange thing? However, if the mechanical arm that could slap 100 times per second was sold on the market, it seemed to be very popular. The sun was setting in the west, and the red glow of the sky only occupied a corner of the western horizon under the invasion of the night. It was like a weak flame lingering in the sky, unwilling to dissipate. 4 people, 2 men and 2 women, were panting heavily on the peak of a mountain on the outskirts of the royal capital, sweating profusely. It was obvious that the 4 of them had just climbed this steep mountain and exhausted all their strength. Zhang Xiaobai lay on the ground and shouted loudly. "Ah! F***CK the Extreme Guild Club. I, Zhang Xiaobai, want to live again." Zhang Xiaobai's shout was filled with joy after sweating profusely, as though everything about the Extreme Guild Club had been relieved after this shout. Zhang Xiaobai, who was shouting at the sky, did not notice that Xianing, who was sitting beside him, was looking at him with eyes full of love. Zhang Xiaobai felt that it was not enough after shouting, so he shouted again. Ah! My rebirth failed. Xing, that B*tch is pestering me. Sob, sob, sob. Before Zhang Xiaobai could finish shouting, his beloved palm immediately used indestructible grasp and used a phase rush with a fatal rhythm. The second was even worse. End of this chapter. Chapter 649. A series of shrill screams seemed to frighten the red clouds on the horizon, and they disappeared into the darkness in an instant. At this point, the sky slowly darkened. Zhang Xiaobai rubbed his stomach, looking aggrieved like a little wife being bullied. Xing, on the other hand, had a cold expression and no longer looked at Zhang Xiaobai. Lu Pinru and Tan Ran were already used to this. It was as if the four of them had experienced this many times a day. It was as if he was already used to it. Lu Pinru said, "Let's go down the mountain and have a good meal. We can talk about our thoughts about the future." As Lu Pinru spoke, she looked at the lights at the foot of the mountain. Her eyes flickered. It was obvious that Lu Pinru was not as calm as she looked on the surface. Zhang Xiaobai was disappointed in the Extreme Guild Club's inaction after the incident and their attitude towards Xing, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru. Lu Pinru had already given up on the Extreme Guild Club when she had been instructed to use her body to block a skill that would damage the soul. Lu Pinru had discovered the problem with the Extreme Guild Club a long time ago. She didn't want to stay in such a completely commercial guild club. At that time, Zhang Xiaobai, Xing, and Tan Ran were all working hard for the S tournament. Lu Pinru also wanted to stand on the arena with these three companions who had supported her all the way. Therefore, Lu Pinru had been suppressing her grudge against the Extreme Guild Club. Now that she knew what the Extreme Guild Club had done, Lu Pinru was the calmest. Lu Pinru's fluctuating emotions were completely filled with gratitude for Lin Yuan and the remembrance of her past self, who had dedicated all her youth to the Extreme Guild Club. Hearing Lu Pinru say that they want to talk about their future thoughts, Zhang Xiaobai hurriedly said, "I told you before that Lin Yuan has also established a guild club and wants to pull the four of us over. I have already agreed to go over to Lin Yuan. What do you guys think?" Upon hearing Zhang Xiaobai's question, Xing rolled her eyes at him. "What do you mean?" Zhang Xiaobai was stunned by Xing's question. He was a little confused. Then, Zhang Xiaobai heard Xing say, "Do you still want to abandon me? The Extreme Guild Club's procedures have been completed. I'll go to the Extreme Guild Club tomorrow to confirm the contents of the contract. I'll be free after 3 days. Tan Ran also sat up from the ground and said seriously, "I also want to join Lin Yuan's guild club, but I am no longer as young as before." Tan Ran's words silenced Zhang Xiaobai and Xing. Yes, Tan Ran, the youngest among them, was already 24 years old after the new year. He was no longer the youth he used to be. Zhang Xiaobai turned his head to look at the lights at the foot of the mountain and suddenly hesitated. At this moment, a calm and determined female voice rang out. "Why are you guys so depressed all of a sudden? Isn't our dream on the field? Let's just treat it as if the past dozen or so years have started all over again and we'll live again." Zhang Xiaobai, Xing, and Tan Ran digested Lu Pinru's words. At this moment, Lu Pinru started humming out of tune. "The answer to dreams has always been in your own hands. Only you can give yourself strength." After singing one line, Lu Pinru continued, "Do you still remember this song by the sparrow-voiced lowly goddess? Lin Yuan put the answer to our dreams in our hands. Can't we catch it? Even if we're not strong enough and can't be members of the reserve team. It's also good to be a staff member in Lin Yuan's guild club. I can't repay what I owe Lin Yuan in this lifetime. For the rest of my life, I'll be doing odd jobs in Lin Yuan's guild club." Lu Pinru was usually very quiet and rarely spoke. However, Lu Pinru's words had a kind of infinite power that dispelled the confusion for the three of them and pointed out the direction ahead. Zhang Xiaobai, who had found the direction, once again revealed a frivolous smile on his face as he grinned. Let's go to the arsenal to eat in a while. I found a super good store. When Xin heard Zhang Xiaobai's words, she felt her fists itch again. Tan Ran did not understand what Zhang Xiaobai meant by the arsenal and thought she had heard wrong, so she asked, Brother Xiaobai, what kind of place is the arsenal? Brother Bai, what kind of place is the armory? Can we still eat there? Zhang Xiaobai winked and said with a grin, Guns, bullets, cannons, everything. Guns, bullets, cannons, everything. There are even cow species phase and goat species phase. It's so beautiful. Let me tell you, every time I eat there, Xin. Before Zhang Xiaobai could finish his words, he was punched by Xin again. Tan Ran still didn't understand and was about to ask again when Lu Pinru covered his ears. Lu Pinru hurriedly said, It's rare for a new buffet restaurant to open in the capital. It's said that the food is quite delicious. I wonder if it will close down like the other buffet restaurants. We have to seize the opportunity and quickly go and eat to our heart's content. After laughing and fooling around for a while, the four of them looked at the lights of the thousands of households at the foot of the mountain. The four of them felt an indescribable sense of carefreeness when they regained their original intentions. Suddenly, the four of them fell into a state of enlightenment. When Zhang Xiaobai opened his eyes, he found that the other three were staring at him. Zhang Xiaobai coughed lightly, stood up, and said arrogantly, Ahem, I just accidentally comprehended a willpower rune. With that said, Zhang Xiaobai urged his mental strength and a rune with the will of hope shot out of Zhang Xiaobai's mind. After Zhang Xiaobai finished showing off, he saw the three of them looking at him like they were looking at a fool. Immediately after, Xin, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru circulated their mental strength, and 3 willpower runes appeared at the same time and floated together with Zhang Xiaobai's willpower rune. At this moment, the 4 of them were dumbfounded. They looked at each other and felt that it was a little unbelievable. This was because the 4 willpower runes all carried almost the same flavor of hope. Immediately after, the 4 of them held hands and jumped on the top of the mountain, cheering loudly and full of carefreeness. They raised their joined hands as if they could touch the sky. Zhang Xiaobai and the others arrived at the entrance of the Muxiang residence in the Fei carriage and were about to go in. Suddenly, a violent sound came from inside the Muxiang residence. A large number of water elements suddenly emerged in the Muxiang residence. As the water elements surged, a figure flew out along with the door and fell heavily to the ground. Immediately after, a delicate shout came from inside. Sure Su, do you think you are a pig trotter or pig shoulder? How can this lady like you? Seeing the situation in front of them, Zhang Xiaobai, Xin, Tan Ran, and Lu Pinru swallowed sluggishly. What is going on? Could it be that the Radiance 100 sequence number 8 Thunder Feast Sure Su confessed to the Radiance 100 sequence number 21 Zhao Xiaochun? This was a huge piece of news. Third, end of this chapter.